Good evening, everyone. Respected CA Aniket Sunil Talati ji, President ICAI, CA Ranjit Kumar Agarwal ji, Vice President ICAI, CA Charanjot Singh Nanda ji, Chairman Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, CA Dyanivas Sharma ji, Vice Chairman Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, CA Nihar and Jambu Sarya ji, President SAFA, and our eminent speakers, CA Narasimhan Ellen Govan ji and CA Shirish Deshpande ji, and all the fellow members who have participated in today's webinar. This is CA Sampoon Sharma, moderator for today's session, and today topic is Digital Competency Maturity Model for the Professional Accounting Firms version 2.0 and the Implementation Guide. Now, without further ado, I would request CA Charanjot Singh Nanda ji, Chairman Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, to start with the welcoming session. Nanda sir.
Thank you, Lord Sampoon. The two faculties of the day, CA Shishir Deshpande ji from Pune and Narasimhan Ellen Govan, both of the celebrated speakers of the day, the Secretary of DAB, Ms. C. Amit Gupta, and all who have come here. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry that I am at Mumbai airport coming back to Delhi and there's a lot of disturbance. So I will not speak much. I would like to just tell you that Digital Competency Maturity Model was first brought for the membership, was released in 2007. The firms can evaluate on a self-assessment basis and build a strategy for upskilling to leverage opportunities which will unfold in the digital era. Now, Digital Competency Maturity version 2 enhances and builds number of things for membership. We have a video for you. Submit please the video and the two speakers today because a lot of disturbance there. I don't want to skip it, please. Thank you so much.
A self-assessment tool to assess the digital competency of your firms and to guide on how you could scale up and ride the tide of technology. As newer digital technologies continue to emerge, accounting firms must anticipate and gear up for the technological revolution. The DCMM roadmap helps a firm to obtain your current maturity rating scores obtained in each of the respective sections, which are to be interpreted independently to determine firms' maturity for moving up the next level of maturity. It provided a set of minimum requirements which the firms can evaluate on a self-assessment basis, and build a strategy for upskilling, to leverage the opportunities which will unfold in the digital era. DCMM version 2.0 includes implementation guide in the form of implementation clues. These clues are practical based and are a sort of hand-holding for small and medium firms for adopting new technologies. What institute are you a member of? In what country is your practice located? What is the size of your practice? Digital Competency Maturity Model, DCMM 2.0. Questionnaire sections to help you rate your firm. Section A. Level of automation of firm's internal processes. Section B. Availability of qualified resource pool and talent development relating to digital competencies. Section C1. Discipline-specific categorization, audit. Section C2. Discipline-specific categorization, tax and compliances. Section C3. Discipline-specific categorization, accounting and support function. Section C4. Discipline-specific categorization, other management consulting services. Section D. Adaptation of advanced and emerging technologies. How to access Digital Competency Maturity Model version 2.0. Click Digital Learning Hub. Click Explore. Click Digital Insights. Click Subscribe now. Enter Login ID. Enter password. Click Login. Click Confirm. Click Digital Competency Maturity Model version 2.0. Click courses or batches. 1. Click launch.
So that was quite a wonderful video. And to elaborate further on this video, we have very eminent speakers with us, Narsimhan ji and Shirish Deshpande ji. So to start off with this session, I would like to invite Narsimhan Iglovan ji. Here is a brief introduction of sir. C.A. Narsimha ji is a futurist, a GRC professional, and a keynote speaker. His area of practice include data analytics, research, risk-based audit, privacy impact assessments, internal audits, information system assurance, internal financial controls, and SOX compliance and SOC audits. In the past few years, he has been advertising in the emerging areas of technology such as AI, blockchain, cloud computing, and cybersecurity and big data. He has regularly spoken on these domains in the national and international forums. He has also been identified as one of the top 10 influential consulting leaders 2020 and annual recognition for torchbearers in the consulting sphere by CEO Insights magazine. So without further ado, Narsimhan ji, please take over, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. Before I move on, I would like if you could confirm if you're able to see me clearly, hear me clearly.
Sir, yes. Audio both clear.
Presentation also, I hope is clear.
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you. So with that as a context, and I think you did see the video, which was sort of showcase for you. And today I'm going to take you through what is called as the Digital Capability Maturity Model, DCMM. And this is version 2.0, which came up in the year 2019. And it has been less than 3 or 4 years. We had a pandemic. And if I look into this guide today, I feel this guide is relevant even till date. Thanks to the thought process which we had applied. I had a wonderful opportunity to be the co-author for this guide and added a lot of practical thoughts. We never thought in 2019 these could be handy, but today I am actually noticing them coming into play or mainstream. And if I have to probably give a slightly different perspective of this particular guidance, I think the last 3 to 4 years has moved from COVID-19 to ChatGPT. I think that's the simplest summary if I have to give it to you, right? Moving from the era of COVID-19 to ChatGPT itself is a big shift, right? And therefore, I thought I'll give you a perspective of what is in store. How do we adapt? What are the challenges which we are noticing? And very, very important, my dear friends, how do I gear up for the future, right? I think these are the questions which we need to answer. And of course, as always, a general disclaimer. The views are mostly from a knowledge sharing perspective, not that I am endorsing any of these solutions, even though they are terrific solutions which have helped solve so many problems. So I thought I'll take you through broadly 4 to 5 areas, right? I thought I'll speak about what is this ChatGPT era and what has happened in the last 2 or 3 years, and we are all noticing it. Right? And then I will from there give you a statement or the problem which we are looking at and how the DCMM 2.0 can be a better fit for it. And then slowly move on to understand what are the digital tools which are available, how do I use the DCMM, what are the digital tools, and how do I gear up for the future, right? While I give you this, I'll also try to do a walkthrough of at least select sections of the DCMM framework. My co-speaker would be, speaking about a few other elements as well a little later, right? Now, what is the so-called ChatGPT era? We are hearing this literally every day, right? And let me tell you a couple of truths, right? We are actually living in an era of intelligence. I repeat, we are living in an era of intelligence. And when I use the word intelligence, I am saying, hey, in and around me, everything is listening, hearing, and getting automated. There is so much of information right? And it is literally overwhelming, if you have to say, right? Today we talk about a new technology which sort of gets probably loses its relevance in the next few months or years. We hear of Microsoft coming with something, then Google announces, then we have Apple coming up with it, and we are talking about such massive pace at which technology works. And the biggest conversation which everybody is thinking is, will my profession be impacted? Will my this thing impacted? I think this is the same conversation many years back in the 1930s people had, and I always give this as an example. When the wheel was invented, right, that was one sort of a journey. But when the horse cart got replaced by a motorized mechanized vehicle, all the drivers who only knew how to sort of ride a horse tonga, they started protesting. And what eventually happened, they learned how to drive a car, and that's exactly what we need to do. We live in this era where we are invariably forced to transition into this new space. And we will not get replaced by AI. Rather, we will get replaced by a person who knows how to use AI effectively. And that's my very strong feeling. He who knows how to transition into this is basically the person who will probably have these interesting challenges as well as will probably look into these interesting opportunities, right? So if I have to probably take this a little further, what is this era which we are noticing, right? If I have to probably give it a gist, we are talking about an era which probably is a digital epiphany. What is a digital epiphany? In a layman's language, a digital epiphany is a realization of technology. It's like, very often we come across these various scenarios where, you never realize the importance until things, aha moment happens, right? I remember, my teacher once said that you never realize the value of your parents' words until probably you become a parent yourself. Right? So it's an era of a digital epiphany where the importance of digital has never been felt so much better. And think of yourself just 3 years back the lane. 3 years back the lane, and don't even have to do the 3 years back the lane. Go to Google Photos; it will tell you how you were 3 years back the lane, right? So today we are all dependent so much on technology. So go 3 years back the lane, see what is these photos or what are these information. You will realize that, hey, did I have a life like this? Right? Today, most of the millennials, they don't get to go to bed unless they see at least 15 minutes to 1 hour of Instagram or Netflix and swipe right, swipe left, and all of those things. And that's the reality, right? And sometimes it could be addictive. That's another part of the story, right? So we're talking about an era of automation, and it is absolutely right that we invest into this technology. And let us also be reminded, technology is not a threat. It is an enabler for us to do things better. And therefore, your workplace has to get that element of digitization. You might be asking, sir, everybody is saying digitization. What is it that I need to do? How do I bring it up? Right? What is it that I have to, bring about this technology? Right? We have this whole lot of interesting things, conversations which is going on. Right? We'll address all of those things. And today, we as accounting firms, professional firms, I think we need to anticipate the change. Otherwise, somebody else is going to take over us. We are noticing that. Opportunities are getting shrink. Today, clients are already coming with a predetermined opinion in their mind, and they come to us to only validate it. Right? And ChatGPT can fill up income tax returns as well. It happens successfully in the US. In India, it's a question of time because it's trained based on an algorithm and language. Of course, India requires mostly a Desi version for everything, but I think it happens. So how do I get started with this technology is the biggest question. And how do I evolve into this chat GPT era? Are you with me? Right? So that's basically what I am going to take you through. And this is a simple example of what is an instance of a changing need, right? Somebody says, hey, don't you have a wireless treatment? Why do I have to go through this pain? Today, charging is wireless. Your connections are wireless. So why cannot my practice be boundaryless? Clients are changing, employees are changing, regulators having different perspective. I think we are talking about interesting things, right? So, so we're talking about these interesting set of things which is actually moving on. And when that comes into the context, what is this newer things which has taken place? We are seeing the traditional audits being declining. We're talking about a Google era. We do not know who is the subject matter expert. Knowledge is getting democratized. And unfortunately, this is the reality. Practice is becoming less attractive for newcomers. I personally don't believe so. But when I interact with many of these young minds, they say, sir, practice is no longer lucrative. A GST returns is not giving me any sort of a major income. And GST is one of the regular retainer sort of a work which I can probably take it until I take some size. We're talking about bookkeeping and bot keeping. Bots are keeping your books of accounts. And not to forget, there's a major deficit in supply of talent. Huge deficit in supply of talent, right? Audit engagements, your risks are increasing compared to the returns and rising costs and increase. So are we the next endangered species? I'm afraid, right? If it goes in the same sort of a trend. So with this all challenges in our mind, I thought it makes sense for us to navigate this challenge. And what I'm going to be is only the friend of yours who in Google Maps says, take left and take right, by giving you an approach or thought process, right? And this is not the only thought process, but this is one of the framework which we came up with, which gives you that structured approach, not for you, but for your entire firm as a whole. And it gives you that sense of satisfaction or the sense that, hey, I am probably one of these people who's not left behind and slowly moving, right? And that's exactly where the DCMM 2.0 comes into picture. So as everybody would ask, I went ahead and asked this AI engine, what is DCMM 2.0? And this is exactly what ChatGPT replied. I am an AI language model. I am not aware of these terminologies or acronyms. It is asking us to give much more clarity so that you understand the context, right? And for me, I think what AI replied is right. You and I, we know DCMM because we have made a mention of it. Otherwise, it could be anything, right? Now, each of us use different abbreviations in different scenarios, right? So getting the context is the most important thing. And therefore, let us see what exactly this is, right? Now, what happened is the Institute as an initiative keeps coming year after year with various mechanisms to empower our members. One of the things which was felt as a need is, where am I in the digital journey of the CA firm? Forget about the client. I'm talking about the CA. And therefore, they came up with the DCMM 1.0. It came like a simple Excel checklist with yes, no, yes, no. It'll give you a score. It says, okay, if you're in this score, this is how good you are digitally. But the problem was, it was not solving the problem. The challenge was, it was not helping you. I know I am bad. What do I do to become good? How do I become better? And that is where we spent a lot of time and came up with this DCMM version 2.0 along with an implementation guide. When we brought in this implementation guide, we applied a lot of thoughts, improvised the existing DCMM 1.0, the framework. And this was also taken and appreciated by a lot of these international accounting bodies, right? If you visit some of these websites also, you will get some guidance on this. So in a simple language, it is a framework through which you could measure your digital competency. In a layman's language, I am rating your digital capability. When I say yours, I'm talking about your firms, right? So this is something which came up, the original version 2017, 2019 was when we had. It comes up with the minimum requirements where firms can evaluate, and it can build a strategy for scaling, upskilling, leveraging opportunities in this digital era. And what exactly is that, variety or a specialization which 2.0 offers in contrast with 1.0? The 2.0 gives you what is called as a very important discipline specific categorization. We realize that every CA firm is not the same. So can we give an approach where discipline specific measures to automate or assess your automation? Right? It is of course divided into 4 sections. We'll come to that. And very, very interesting. And this is something which I personally worked with, right? Because, I was the author in this particular section. How do I adapt to emerging technologies? Of course, this was written in the 2019. I wouldn't have mentioned about Chat GPT, but I've definitely made a mention of AI. And in today's presentation, I'll also integrate how DCMM can be made more relevant today, how you can probably. And not just that, we came up with a very, very interesting thing called as an implementation guide. So while you read it, if your score goes bad, we give you a cheat sheet to make your score better. In other words, we tell you, hey, probably consider these, and these are just a few examples where you can make things much better. Right? So how does this entire DCMM 2.0 work? There are broadly 4 sections. Section A talks about your firm's internal process automation. I repeat, your firm's internal process automation. This is to do with your billing, your document management system, your client relationship management, your staff attendance, your work tracking, how do you have antivirus security, cyber security measures, all of those basics. Your section B is a very interesting, it talks about how can you have a better qualified resource pool. And let me tell you, only after a particular point, we as an individual can scale in our own firms. After a point, we cannot be there in every client management, and therefore the talent development and developing the next generation is our objective. Right? When I was started my speaking career, at least about 6 to 8 years, I said, if I am great, that is sufficient. I'll be able to pull the firm and go. But I realized, hey, it is not just me. I need to get my team along because I cannot be there in every situation. And I sincerely started focusing on upskilling my team members, giving them the training, giving them the mentorship. And that is what your section B is. How do I attract talent? How do I retain talent? How do I develop? And one of the biggest challenge which we face is, suddenly we have skill shortage or, resource shortage. We don't have any people working, helping there to help us out, right? Of course, in the last 3 months, it was not felt very much because, most of the return filing got completed in, let's say, the end of December because of that extended due dates, right? So therefore, how do I try to match this? Are there technologies, app solutions available? Then comes the third thing, which is a discipline specific categorization. Here, what we very interestingly did, we said all firms are not the same. For instance, our firm, we specialize majority into information technology related audits. And therefore, my firm may probably have an element of audit, a lesser element of taxes and compliance, which we do for our clients. There could be some firms who are evenly placed between all. So therefore, we decided to give a discipline specific categorization as to for audit, how do I measure the maturity? For taxes and compliance, how do I measure maturity? For accounting and support function, and for management consulting service. And last, my personal favorite, how do I adapt to the emerging technologies? These are RPAs, bots, these are, any of these new age solutions which are coming up. right? So that's basically the overview. So now that you have a perspective of what DCMM is, so what is it that we'll have to do? Like, how do I go about? So do I answer the checklist? Yes, no, yes, no. Wait, hang on. I will take you through that structured process, right? And after this, what do? You assess the firm. I repeat, you assess the firm. How do I assess the firm? The firms could be categorized as 3 levels: level 1, 2, and 3, based on a score. We'll not get into the scoring as of now. We'll go into it a little later. Level 1 firm indicates that you are at a very, very nascent stage. You are probably a simple language, a first standard kid, right? You still have a long way to go. A level 2 says that you have done some good progress, but you have lots to catch up. And level 3 is I am actually doing a lot of adoption of digital technologies and optimizing it. And very important, I need to consistently do it. It's not that, oh, I use ChatGPT today, therefore I'm in level 3 firm. No, consistently bring it. In fact, I've told my article staff, please go ahead, create account with ChatGPT, ask queries, ask prompts, right? And of course, I'll show you how that is also done, right, on a practical perspective, depending on time. So what I thought I'll do is I thought I'll quickly take you through a walkthrough of this particular guide and tool, right? And of course, if there's any questions, keep them posted in the chat window or the Q&A window. We will slowly get it from the administrators. So this is a sort of a webinar mode where you're only able to listen to us, right? We may not be able to interact, but of course, my contact details and other things would be shared a little later. Right. So let's quickly look into walkthrough of this guide and the tool and how it looks like. Then you get a better sense of it, right? So now what I'm going to quickly flip my screen is I am going to jump into this PDF and I hope you're able to see this. Yeah. So this is the digital competency maturity model for professional accounting firms. You just type it as DCMM 2.0. You will get this in the Google navigation. Now, of course, with all of these, introduction and all of those things, you could also find, various information, preface, my name, and my co-author, Guru Prasad sir, who's from Guru Anjana. Again, he was also played a significant role here, and we both took this. So I'll quickly get into the core of what exactly this is, right? This is what I said. Section A talks about the level of automation of the firm's internal processes. I'm just zooming it for the benefit of all. Section B is availability of qualified resource pool. Section C1, C2, C3 is all about discipline-specific activities. And D is adaptation of emerging technologies. And this is how you sort of rate the firm, right? There's a maximum score of 169. It's not that you have 169 questions, but there is a series of things. If you're scoring less than 46, I think we gave it a roughly at around 30%, not to have the 40% mark of the CA Institute, but maybe around 30%. We said less than 46 points odd, 30, 40 odd percentage is level 1. Up to 90 is probably level 2 and 92 and above. Again, these are just parameters. Please bear in mind, these are just parameters. You could have absolutely the next level of points, which is appearing, right? And this just gives you, and please bear in mind, you could be a level 1 firm in section A, you could be a level 3 firm in section B. Absolutely possible. And you don't aggregate all of them and say, hey, I'm a level 1 firm, level 3 firm, I'm best. No. It is only an internal assessment, and after doing these assessment, you are expected not to publish these results because it may be a conflict of the code of ethics, because you cannot promote your firm with some sort of a mechanism, but this is merely for you to get some visibility, right? So with that, I think we have fairly got some idea of how this works for maturity rating, right? And this is the implementation guide. I'll take you through this. How do I use this? Again, I'll come back to all of these pointers, but this is what it is. Section A. What is the level of automation of your firm's internal processes? Very, very important. And I highly, highly recommend people to look into this. Why? My dear friends, you go to a cafe coffee day, the coffee which you get there is more or less the same taste you go to anywhere in India. Maybe 5 to 10% deviation. You go to McDonald's or a KFC in case you prefer a non-veg, right? The taste remains more or less standard. You go to, let's say, Domino's, the pizza is more or less the same. What are the lessons these folks are helping us or giving us? Lesson number one, they have standardized their process. Lesson number two, once a process is standardized, you don't require somebody who is a core expert to do the work. Because the person who is helping you make the Domino's pizza or the KFC burger, whatever, or a McDonald's burger, is not an expert in cooking. For all you know, he might not be a great chef himself or herself. Which means if you are able to set up a process in your firm, you can scale. I repeat, you're able to set up a process in your firm, you can scale. And as a part of this, we came up with probably 14 odd broad points which could scale the firm's process. Starting from your firm's digital identity, first and foremost, do you have a domain name? Some people ask, what is domain? Said @KEN, @Ken, -co.in, that's my domain. @abccafirm.com, @guptaandgupta.com, whatever, right? So do you have that? And that's where the first question is. And it comes up with a series of questions. Then comes operational automation, redundancy, continuity, backup, data security, electronic payments, and a fairly good setup. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go into section A just for you to get a perspective, right? And then probably quickly switch guards and see how to probably look into a use case, because my co-speaker will be covering section B and C. We'll go into that a little later. I'll quickly take you to section A, right, which is managing digital identity, the first one. How do I score the firm? First, look at the beauty of this. Do you have a digital identity? Right? Do you have a digital identity? That means I'm talking about the firm, not about you as an individual. When you talk about you as a firm, you could also speak about it. Right? Do you have a domain name @ken-co.in? That's my domain name. Very important. Has it been registered? You can have a domain name, but I forgot to renew. Pointless. So 1 point for each. Let's go down further. Do you have a website? Hey, I thought domain name means website. No, wait. I can have a domain name but not have a website. Please bear that in mind. Which means if you go search for some XYZ, ABC, whatever, it will still give you something, right? Or it will say the website cannot be found, or page not found, error 404, or whatever that is, right? So in that case, you do not have a website. So I have a website. Now question is the website updated on regular basis? Am I regularly updating? Is your website more dynamic and iterative? Loading. Now question is, can employees and articles log in? Can clients log in? Now you might say, hey, I have different methods in which the client can log in. They need not come into my website. They have a different means. That's your call. Again, this is purely a subjective assessment. This is a concept which has to get into it. Next. Do I have a corporate domain ID? This is very interesting. Now, what is a corporate domain ID? I have a domain ID @KEN. Now, if I have this @, do I have an email based on that? Right? Is it available for all the office staff? I've seen many of the CA firms, what they do. I mean, it's again a choice, nothing wrong to it. What they do is they say, okay, my name is Alfred. Alfred, I work in, let's say, Ken, alfred.ken@gmail.com. alfred.ken@gmail.com. Right? So you're actually creating a Gmail ID. That's your choice. It depends upon cost and other things, right? Is it available for articles? Is it available for other staff? How are you storing the data? Is it stored in servers like Gmail, etc.? Is access available for larger files? Am I able to edit it? Next, very interesting, point number 4, my personal favorite. Do you have a social media presence? If somebody posted a query, are you able to answer? Are you updating at least one article or one post in a month? So this gives you a scorecard of 15, which you may probably get score of 3, 5, 15, 10, your choice, right? But that's how it is. But what if you got a very bad score and you do not know what to do? That is where this implementation guidance comes. What is a domain name? What is the purpose? What is the implementation clue? How do I implement it? Go to a domain register, go there, fill up all these things. A few examples we get. Okay, go to a website. What are the implementation clues of a website? Right? How do I build a website? And by the way, ChatGPT can build a website for you for free. Yeah? Just go ahead and give it a try. ChatGPT can build a website for you for free, but you need to know how to deploy that. Right? It's like you know how to open the. It's like the story of Mahabharata, where I think this was Abhimanyu. Right? Abhimanyu knew how to enter the chakra view, but he did not know how to exit. Right? You need to know the entire process. What is the corporate email ID for corporate domain ID for emails? What is social media presence? And we speak about all of this, right? And then we go to a very interesting thing: operational process automation. Your day-to-day operational work, attendance, billing. Do you have an attendance and a leave management system? Some of us have biometric IP address based tracking. Some of them have manual. Again, please note, it is not that every organization, even if it is 5 employees, you may need to score 100 out of 100. No, it is your size, your space, and your comfort. If you believe that as a firm, I still want to stick on to a manual attendance method, that is your call, your choice. But we are talking about operational efficiencies. Right? So is there a biometric? Is there a portal available for maintenance of attendance work? Is there a leave policy? Is there an employee self-service software? And are you giving mobiles for employees or laptops for employees? Do you do an asset tagging? How do I track the assets on a real-time basis? So all of those things are questions. Next, do you have a chat software? This is something very interesting, right? Do you have a communication software between all your process to communicate, or you're just using WhatsApp? My suggestion, please avoid using WhatsApp because it is lost in the conversation, and so much of information is there on WhatsApp, and one fine day if somebody deletes or some confidential information goes, it's very risky. So use a software, like for example, there's a software called Zoho Click. Up to 10,000 messages, it is free, and 10,000 messages is quite a number. Go ahead and try it. Right? You have something called Slack. You have something called Teams. Right? Go ahead and explore. Do you have a centralized file storage system? Some of the CA firms are hosted on the cloud. Some of them are hosted in-house. Now multiple combinations. And very important, it is not enough if you have a file storage system. You need to have a backup system in place. And let me remind you an interesting CA firms or accounting firms do accounting work for clients in your own tally, which is great. No problem, because that's an agreed upon engagement which you have entered with the client. I'm presuming you don't do audit in those cases. Anyways, now the challenge is for all these companies, you need to demonstrate if there is a daily backup being taken from 1st of, or I think from 13th of September 2022, the MCA circular says that. You need to demonstrate if the backup is taken on a daily basis. So if you're storing it in Tally, is the backup taken? I'm not sure. Please check it. Right? And backup, how do you take it is your choice. They have not defined it. But there are solutions. For example, there is a very simplified solution at an affordable price of 2,000 to 3,000 rupees per month called as Vaulten, Vaulten, Vaulten. You plug it, it'll automatically take the backup, and it does what is called incremental backup, encrypts the data and stores, and the servers are in India. All the more the good, right? So these are simple examples. Next, do you have an internal workflow documentation? I do something, it passes on to you, a workflow sort of a situation, right? Do you have audit trail in the system? Audit trail is mandatory from 1st of April 2023 for all accounting softwares for companies. So please be aware of that, right? Electronic database pertaining to clients. Am I able to have an electronic digital system? Do I use office management systems like HR tools, grievance tools, payroll? So like this, the list keeps on going, and all of these are internal operational related, right? Do I have a CRM solution? Do I have SOPs? Am I using timesheets? Is the timesheets approved? So the list keeps on going, right? Let's go into the next one. Okay, invoicing, very important. Many of us say, sir, invoicing is still an Excel sheet. Invoicing is in Word document. There are tools available today, sir. For example, Zoho Invoice, free of cost forever. That's how their website says. Right? Make in India product company, hosted in Indian servers. Data is available. Zoho Invoice is free. Zoho Books is free for 3 years. If you subscribe through the ICA route, there is an MOU with Zoho and this thing. So I'll go ahead and use it. No, that I'm using Tally for invoicing. Perfectly fine. But the question is, am I able to keep a track of all of this and go ahead and do it? The answer is yes, no, decide. Right? So that is basically what we have spoken, and we have explained the entire concept over here. Now, for example, in mobile device and PDS, we have explained what is a concept called BYOD. Many of the CA firms ask the article staff to buy their own laptops and use it. Cost effective, but data is in the employee system. So you'll have to assess the risk in all of these scenarios, right? So you're talking about centralized file storage system. You can use a Dropbox, you can use Amazon, AWS, OneDrive, Google Drive, whatever. But please bear in mind that these are synchronization solutions and not a backup solution. So unless you have a corporate domain and you have enabled backup log, etc., these are again becomes a little challenging. Internal workflow solutions, right? Papilio has an MOU with our ICAI. Simplify practice. Again, all of these folks have. Then HR tools, right? There are so many HR tools available for free. Right, I think Razorpay has some payroll software for free. I think Asana is another payroll solution which is available for free, at least for some small level of employees. And the beauty of most of these SaaS solutions today is, especially for smaller firms, it's very handy. Why? It's free. Because up to 10 licenses, up to 25 licenses, they offer it for free. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense for you to go ahead and use that. Right? Electronic database pertaining to clients. How do I save the data? Right? Knowledge management solutions, very important. Employee leaves the organization, where have I stored that information? Interview management, CRM, the list keeps on going. Right? So that is basically what we have done. Then come to 1.3, redundancy and continuity. Very important. Do you have a backing up system in place? I think already spoke about that. What is the data which is backed up? And what is the frequency of the backup? Is the data stored in multiple locations, single location? Is it automated? Am I taking hard disk and copy pasting the data, right? Do I have redundant internet connection? This is a very interesting thing. Internet is down in office, that day no work source, right? So do I have an alternate line? So these are all questions which you should probably look into. Next, very important. Are your systems encrypted? Right? Are the mobile laptops given to articles? How do I safeguard the data? Is there a data loss or a data leak prevention solutions, protection solutions installed? Is there an endpoint security such as antivirus systems? So I buy some antivirus software for free or for paid, whatever, I installed it. But do I have a centralized control? My latest patches, are they being updated? So these are all questions to probably answer, right? Do I have MDM? So MDMs have an additional feature that in case of your device getting lost, I click a button through that, the data can probably get wiped off, right? So those are the features which we are talking about. Next, data security. Have you enabled encryptions? How are you safeguarding digital signatures? How are you safeguarding passwords? Today, most of us store passwords in Excel sheets. Can I use a vault? Zoho Vault is a free feature for single use. LastPass, another software which is available. I think it is free up to a particular limit, right? So like that, there are so many features which are these vaults have, right? Has the firm deployed endpoint security in all the systems? Do you have a business recovery at DR? Do you have BYOD policy? What is your internet policy, acceptable usage policy? All of these things are quite a good set of things, right? So once you have done with this, you move on to electronic payments. I think today most of us have gone to electronic payments, but this is an interesting thing which we did in the DCMM. We said, let us not give a score which is just a yes or a no. We thought we'll give a little open-ended. So we said, okay, if your electronic payments are minimum 15 to 40%, you take 1 point. 40 to 75% make 2 points. 75% take all the 3 points. And today, most of our firms have all become completely digital, right? So makes all the more sense. Copyright and license is very interesting. Am I using a software which is appropriately licensed? It could be Word, Excel, PowerPoint. It could be any desk. right? Please be very, very cautious of these things. And that's how this checklist keeps on going. Digital media for communication. Am I using e-newsletters? Am I having an internet portal? It keeps on going to multiple levels, right? So question is again, last thing, protecting your data privacy. How are you safeguarding the data, right? How are you, do you have a data privacy policy, terms of use policy, and the list keeps on. So I hope you got a perspective of what the section 1 is, right? To get some sort of a sense of what is going on. And this is a fairly good set of pointers, right? We've also gone ahead and asked, as a firm, has somebody done an audit of yours? Right? So smaller companies may not be applicable, maybe larger companies, yes, they could be applicable, right? So these are few examples. What is the level of application controls? Do you do any sort of a customization, development, right? Do you use social media, LinkedIn, WhatsApp for client communication, right? Are they taken care of your passwords? So I think the list keeps on going, but I hope you got the initial trigger as to how this entire thing is. Right. So now that you got some perspective of this, I think it's come back to presentation. So now we've got this entire guide. We've seen what it is. But great, but how do I go ahead? Right? Implementation guide we spoke of. What are the clues? How do professional firms adopt? Right? So what are the steps which we need to do? So A is you do a benchmark. You do this assessment and you start benchmarking. And you plan initiatives. Right? You identify resources, execution plan, assess in progressing, and then probably if required, you can also get a peer review done on this. That's totally your choice. But all this is fine, but I still have practical nuances and challenges, right? So therefore, we came up with this probably 7 steps, and in the interest of time, I will go ahead and choose a specific use case, right? So go ahead and choose a specific use case, right? So you've identified the DCMM results. You've gone to the implementation guide. What are the tools? You have identified the tools. You started implementing. Once you're implementing, you realize that I alone cannot implement. You need to keep somebody in charge for the implementation. There will be some new requirements which will keep coming, right? Understand these tools better. Train your employees. Define an SOP or a process, and see if you can do some sort of test runs, etc. If these are successful, right, go ahead and repeat these issues, right? And once in 6 months, once in a year, keep on performing. So that's typically the approach. But instead of going to theory, I thought I'll take you through practice, right? How do I prioritize? There are so many things for me to do. How do I prioritize? Right? So prioritize based on cost benefit strategy. What you believe is value to the firm. If what is the most important thing which I have to look into, right? For example, during COVID, your work from home strategy was the priority vis-a-vis a website. You could do it. Now you have some time, you feel that, okay, I'll develop a website, I'll have a website. Great, go ahead, right? And for this, my personal favorite is the time management by Stephen Covey matrix. Important and urgent. That which is important and urgent, do it now. Repeat, that which is important and urgent, go ahead and do it now. That which is important, but it is not urgent, please plan when to do it. 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, but make sure you do it. Right? Most of the time we feel it is important and therefore it has to be done right away. It is not urgent, so please understand that. The third biggest thing which people make a mistake, it is urgent, but it is not important. Client says, sir, send me my ITR return right now, sir. I'm going for bank loan, urgent. We have to go search everything and send. It is urgent. It may not be as important for you at that point in time. Maybe you are dealing with some other issue, some other complicated. Delegate. Priority 3 always has to be delegated. And this is what I want to achieve through this session, my dear friends. It's just not a DCMM guide. It's talking about how to implement it. And this is something which I've done practically and it's working wonders. Simplest example. Anything which I feel is urgent has to be done, but is not very important, I always delegate it. Right? Not that I've been a master in this, but it is working. And something which is neither urgent nor important, you could decide. Let's talk from a firm context how this can be done. Urgent and important. there is a hard deadline that you cannot afford to miss. Maybe deploying a work from home solution, deploying an antivirus solution, because that's something very urgent, because tomorrow something could go wrong. Priority 2, which is not urgent, but it is important, right? It is not urgent, but it is important. These are topics or projects which have immediate deadline. Sorry, beg your pardon, do not have an immediate deadline, but it definitely do matter. Let's say you want to implement one of the Power BI analytics. You want to implement some task tracking tool. It is important, but it's not very urgent. Urgent, but not important. Very important. Get this clear. It has to be done now, but it need not be done by you. You can get it done by somebody else. Deploying an IT solution, which is a one-off requirement of a client. Right now, bank audits is there, and therefore you want to buy a bank audit software which can do some auto analysis and help you with the results. It is urgent, but it may not be very important. Maybe I'm just giving an example. If you feel it is important, it goes to priority 1. Not urgent, not important. Asset tracking register you want to prepare, attendance automation you want to prepare. You still have time, right? So define that. Next, you need to also assess your firm's bandwidth. Please note, everything you want to bring into your firm as a technology, you cannot do it. It should be based on your bandwidth. You have identified some gap. What is the priority? How do I fix it? Do I have vendors who can help me out with that? What is the time involved in deployed and training? And this is where your firm assessing the bandwidth becomes very critical, right? So let's pick up a case study. There is a CA firm, whoever it is, right? Your firm, my firm, ABC in this case. And I think there are firms by name ABC and Co, maybe Ashish, Bachchan and Chaurasi or somebody, right? Not just for the sake of an example. They are doing an evaluation of DCMM and they have identified that section A, level of automation of the firm. These are the problems. They don't have a corporate ID, they don't have social media presence, and they've identified, 5 to 6. Great. Now, what do I do as a next step? I know what my problem. See, most of the time in life, you do not know what is the problem. If you know what is the problem, the next step you can start taking, and that is what we aim to achieve here. I know what is the problem, that these are the things which I don't have. What is the next thing I can do? ABC and Co, after doing a self-evaluation, also got to know in section C1 they do not have these issues. C1 I have not given a walkthrough. B and C co-speaker will be doing, but just giving an example. IT controls were not done. No tool is there for budgeting. No automated tools. Whatever you identify. So what is the solution? Let's pick up the first thing. Section A. You do not have corporate email ID. Now you think it is required because the client data I want to so-called save it in secure manner. If I put it in Gmail tomorrow, I do not have a control over it. If I have @myorganization.com, I am giving the access, I can revoke anytime. For me, or for this particular scenario, medium priority. Social media presence. I am in a tier 2, tier 3 city, maybe I don't find that importance. Or all my clients are some people who comes through a word of mouth referral, or larger corporates, it doesn't make sense to have social media. Whatever you feel it's not a priority, ignore. But point 5, no centralized server. It's a high priority for you to safeguard the data. No structured backup automation system. You feel it's a high priority, so therefore these both are given a high score. No timesheet is given a low score. Maybe medium is non-availability. Other things are just nothing. Now section C. No tools for audit planning. You feel that it is audit planning has to be standardized and therefore you require a very, very important tool. Right? Maybe some data analytics tool is medium priority and automated tools is the least priority. Audit staff having limited understanding of end-to-end client automation, maybe it may not be applicable for your scenario. I'm just auditing a tally-based organization. IT controls are not doing audit. I have not done an IT general control testing. Maybe the client is very small and therefore you don't require any depth. So I've given a justification. I've identified what is my priority. What do I do next? So no centralized server. Priority to fix it is high. What is it that I require? Either I require a centralized server, or I buy a server computer such as a Windows server, or maybe I buy a normal computer with a higher configuration. 1 terabyte of storage, maybe 2 terabytes, 5 terabytes. 4 GB RAM. I think 4 GB is today's too less. Maybe 12 GB or 16 GB RAM. How do I price it? Vendor A gives this price, vendor B gives this sort of price, time, support, budget. Check all of this and decide what your plan is. Right? Does it make a little more sense now? So we understood how to gradually transition and adopt this DCM. Right? No structured automated backup system. You have a cloud-based backup system. Or like for example, I give you an example of a solution called Vault 10. Real-time synchronization with Google Drive, Microsoft Drive, or Zoho Work Drive. You set up a Google Drive, ask everybody to stay there. That's another solution. Or third, you use a simple hard disk and do it. Right? So you try to again explore various scenarios and you figure it. So the question is all about you trying to achieve. Right? Let's take the last thing in case of section C. Right? You do not have any tool for audit planning. Software you want to have creating tasks, assigning the documents, upload, archival system. So you come up with various solutions and you decide what the cost is. Right? So that's a gradual transition as to how you deploy and go ahead. But then all this is fine, right? So we spoke about the processes, we spoke about the ideas, we spoke about all of this. By the way, if there are any questions and you want me to take it up, please do let me know. I have the organizers on the other side, they will help me out. I'll just pause for a minute. Are there any specific questions which we want to discuss? We could, because it's almost an hour since we started, and it's always nice to take a few questions in between.
Sure. I will start with the questions. There are basically, let me check. So one question is, for internal audit practice, is SAP knowledge required? If yes, how can acquire the same? Also, how develop skills in machine learning and data analysis and get automation in client side?
There are too many things which you asked, my dear friend. At one shot, you cannot acquire everything, but let me answer one step at a time. Step number one, if you are doing an internal audit for a client who is using SAP, yes, you are right, SAP knowledge is necessary, right? But can I do the audit without an SAP knowledge? A little difficult. You'll be probably one step backwards. You could still learn it because SAP, there are a lot of tutorials available on YouTube. There are also methods on how you can use SAP to effectively performing your audits available. Those are all available, right? First. Second, what is it that you are auditing? You are auditing internal audit for a particular process. For the process, understand the business and how the data is moving around using the technology. Then ask them the relevant questions. It becomes much easier. And if you feel there is a particular area you are not able to get an idea, then go into a Google search or see if you can use a chat GPT for it. Who's stopping you? For example, you want to extract the list of users who have access to a particular module and you do not know how to do it. Ask the management. Not working. Ask the IT team. Not working. Go to chat GPT, write a prompt, give me how step-by-step procedure as to how to extract the list of users having access to procurement module by way of whatever, it'll give you the step by step. So I'm just giving you examples, right? So that is one. Second, do I need to learn machine learning, analytics, etc.? The choice is yours. As I said, you could go into core technology and become a completely technology-based professional using your fundamental domain expertise, or you could understand the level of in which technology operates and use it for your betterment. A person who knows AI to use in his profession rather than a guy who is actually programming AI. The choice is yours. Next question, please.
So the same person asked another question: is SAP business or who is beneficial to the client?
It's again purely based on the client's requirement. SAP has certain features. Dynamics has so many features. Zoho has so many features. Tally has so many features. The question is, you could not say, okay, is Mercedes-Benz good for you, or Audi good for you, or even a Maruti good for you? It's all about the use case and the scenario. So basis that you will have to decide. Let's move to the next one.
That is it for the questions, sir.
Okay. I think we've had a fairly interesting conversation going on, and I would like to resume where we stopped. And thought I will take you from this interesting section called as digital tools which one could have in their firm. right? What are the digital tools? And I will slowly take you through the most recent tools as well, which is actually coming up into the market, right? So first, at a high level, I think you need to have a practice management software. Again, the choice is here. You might say, no, I don't require. But let's see what is an idealistic situation. A practice management software helps you to track tasks. For example, you have 50 clients for whom GST returns have to be filed. 48 clients have filed, 2 clients have forgotten to give the data. Then they say, sir, you have not reminded us, we have forgotten. You have not forgotten to pay advance tax for them, right? Next year, when you're filing the self-assessment tax, it becomes a huge number. It's like, why have you not advised? So all those questions comes into picture, and that is where your practice management software helps you to streamline. It also helps you to record how much time you have spent on each of the tasks, right? I hope you're able to getting the sense, right? So task tracking, time recording, attendance, maybe billing. Again, the choice is yours. A few examples, we'll deal with it a little later. Document management, basically for archiving, for backup, ensuring access is given only to the concerned people, right? So that's a document management. A few examples of, I'll give you a few examples of the practice management. You can talk about, you have something called as Papilio, a simple use case which is solving so much of a problem. It has synchronization and linking with OneDrive also. So you upload a file in Papilio, it sort of goes and saves in your OneDrive. Great utility, right? You have something called Simplify Practice. Go ahead and try it, right? Or you have so many other solutions. If you just visit our ICA website itself, there is something called Practice Management. Give it a try, right? There is one of these tools, I am not able to recollect the name. I think it is earlier it was called Cordial. Again, that got sort of acquired or some merged or something. Then so these are a few examples, right? You could probably go ahead and explain. Then you have what is called document management system. A document management system is a simple example of how you store and retrieve the data. How you store it, retrieve the data, right? You have to archive. Some of the practice management software itself has the document management solutions, right? So that's also another interesting thing which you can probably go ahead and look into it, right? So that's on the document management system. Next, you have what is called as communication tools, as I said, office internal communication, client communication, emails, data, all of those things. And by the way, just for record, I think our own institute has come up with a practice management solution. This is available in the ICA website, cmpbenefits.ica.org, Committee for Members in Practice, I think cmpbenefits.ica.org. They come up with a practice management software which is fairly at an I think as of now it is it is basically a tool called a Simplify Practice, which our institute is sort of had a MOU with, right? It has various interesting features you can go ahead and explore, right? I also came across one tool which had this feature which could which has this integration with income tax website, right? And this can probably it can extract some notices also from the income tax website, right? That's another good tool which you can go ahead, and I'm not able to recollect the name immediately. That's I think one more you can go ahead and explore that. What else is there? So these are a few things. I think it's called Jamku, Jamku. That's the name. Jamku, which has some feature where it can integrate so your notices and your pending systems. It has digital signature reminder features as well, right? So these are few examples of practice management and document. Coming to communication tool, I spoke of Zoho, Click. I spoke of Slack, Microsoft Teams, right? Zoom in certain cases for your client meetings, etc. Right? And of course, it need not be that you need to always go for a paid option. I had a very interesting case where I was discussing with a client, and I used to always send invite only through my Zoom, right? And I had a free Zoom account, which was 40 minutes. And on purpose, I used to send only a 40 minutes. I used the free Zoom account, even though I had my other software. Why? Obviously, Zoom was easier for him because both of us were sort of used to the system compared to the other solution. Second, I knew my meeting will end compulsory at 40 minutes, even if we are speaking continuously. So I used to end at 30 minutes, have 5 to 6 minutes Q&A, summarize it in the 2 minutes and wrap it up, right? It was strategically done on a lighter. Collaborate and productivity, very important. Sharing of files, spreadsheets, word processing. Many of them keep on asking me, sir, how do I use Microsoft licenses? What is the pricing? So let me tell you what you could do is, I'll tell you a smart way, right? How you could optimize on the cost. For partners and probably key audit managers, you go ahead for the entire suite of Microsoft, which is, if you want only Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or whatever, it is 550 rupees per month. 550, that's close to about 6,000 plus 600. So 6,600, 7,000 per month, per year. Very good investment. Go ahead and make it. At least for partners, for the key strategic senior people. For article stuff, what you can do, you can have 1 or 2 licenses, which is spreadsheet with word processing, etc. Maybe. And for rest of them, you can use open office, which means these licenses cost are free. You don't have to pay. It has more or less all the features of these spreadsheets and Word, but it will not save as .xls. It may probably open an XLS file, but it will save it as .ods, right? So there are some challenges there, but of course, definitely benefits. Go ahead and use it. Nobody's stopping, right? And the most of the major functions, what we are using works. You're saving on cost, right? If you still feel, no, sir, I still have to use Word, Excel, then you can go for the cloud version of Word and Excel, which is 125 rupees per month. And all these are per user. Please bear it. For branding and marketing, there's a variety of tools: email, campaign, webinars, website, right? Tools are available today. You can create your own website. You can give a chat GPT a command and you can copy paste that into a website and your website can be done. A lot of fancy stuff. Remote working tools. This is a very interesting thing. Today, many of the firms, and I think this is something which you should probably also think of. You are in let's say a tier 1 city. You want to get the work done, but you are really not bothered where your team is. I think this is a perfect situation. And this is where cost optimization happens. And this is where a lot of US based work is coming to India. Let's say you are in a place like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, wherever cost is fairly high. You want to give it to a firm which is based off a tier 2 or a tier 3 city. Go ahead and outsource the work. Have remote working tools. There the costing is lesser. The cost of living is lesser. So probably a resource, you might get it at 50-60% of the price at a city. You are able to work out that 40% what you save, 10-20% invest in the technology. You're still making 20% of margin, right? So these are interesting things which you should think of, right? Screen sharing, video call, web meetings, remote RDP solutions, right? And you can also look into domain specific accounting automation, audit automation. A few of them I will try to take. So a few illustrative tools just for you to get an idea. Again, this is just for you to give a perspective of how things are evolving, right? So many of us keep on entering data into Tally manually. I think manual data entry has to disappear. Make sure you do an automation in that. And my personal favorite is this solution. We've been using it at least since last 3 to 4 years, or maybe more than that. I think more than 5 years. A very simple solution. Excel template, take the bank statement, convert, write the ledgers, upload, over. Your time is only on typing, which is the corresponding ledger. And today we have clients who are small SMEs, etc. We have hundreds of UPI transactions. And it is just impossible for you to sit and do the data entry, right? Even for a Pani Puri, we go 10 rupees, we make that payment, through that digital app, right? So I think this is very handy. Classify, filter the transactions, filter for all transactions having UPI. See amount less than 500 rupees, put it as drawings, miscellaneous, expense, whatever is there, whatever you feel is apt, right? Or, based on a name and nature, go ahead and classify. So this will help you. And then all of us will have to just go ahead and upload, right? So that's one method. Or you want to go to a cloud-based accounting solution. An example is Zoho Books. Again, they have an MOU with ICI, right? So what you could do with solutions like this, you can have an online payment gateway. You can send payment reminder. Dear so-and-so, the amount is due. Follow up. You can have a self-service portal. Enable a portal for the customer. They can actually see, interact with customers for old invoices, get instant reviews if you want to, right? Attractive templates are available. Automate recurring expenses. I have a module called recurring payments, right? So for all my what do you call retainer clients I have just configured and every month on a particular date it goes. Auto scan the document, OCR technology, very interesting. Fetch feed directly from bank. So you link your bank, automatically one leg of the entry comes. Many of them have this challenge, no credit card statements, very difficult to pass the entry. Enable with this, transaction gets through, one leg of the entry automatically comes, insightful reporting. So a lot of very, very interesting features is basically what I would say, right? Is Zoho Books the only option? No, there are a host of these solutions. These are a few examples. QuickBooks, of course, has exited India. But just keep in mind 2 or 3 things. First, please ask the cloud-based accounting software solution provider where the data is hosted. Very important. Because if you're doing accounting for a company, I think the law says the data should be accessible from India at all times. That is the wordings they've used, at all times. So preferably if the data is in India, you know it is accessible. If it's outside India, such as US, etc., how do you prove that it was accessible at all times? Very interesting challenge first, right? And as a matter of fact, this is applicable for all. Second, do they have an audit trail enabled? There's a mandatory requirement from 1st of April. Solutions, some of these solutions definitely have it. So you can go ahead. You have to go, some of the places you have to enable it. Some of them it is enabled by default. Please figure that out, right? So these are 2 very important things. Third, how do they back up your data? Very critical. How do they back up your data? So these are few critical questions which you have to achieve, right? Another thing is, if you have to use analytics, again, my personal favorite is a software called ECAT. We have used it extensively, especially in forensic analysis, investigations, which can probably just have data in Excel sheet, and it has got multiple. So 3-4 functions of Excel you can combine in this, right? There are videos available, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. One of my favorite feature is, when I have to check authorization check. So I have transactions performed by users. In another sheet, I have the limits, higher limit, lower limit. If I have to do a lookup between these both, I have to say is equal to, check if this limit, what is the lower limit, higher limit, check between all of those things. Forget all of those. I just say, please check authorization. Sheet 1, limits. Sheet 2, this is compare. It gives me the results of how many of them have exceeded, how many of them have not exceeded. Click of a button. And that's where these sort of CAT tools are very, very interesting, right? There are a lot of features. It can compute and calculate. It can do a comparison. It can prepare MIS reports, right? If I want a day-wise summary, a month-wise summary, the first of the month, how many sales, second of the month, how many sales. We are doing an e-commerce transaction. We wanted day-wise summary. So all of these things are possible, right? A similar variant of the same solution is a TCAT, tally-based CAT, right? Which can do tally to Excel and, a lot of these interesting features out there. TCAT is an add-on to MS Excel. Again, all of these, it can export data from Excel. Beg your pardon, from tally to Excel. It can bring in, and again, all these are made by our own chartered accountants, right? I think we need to promote that great talent and thought process within our CAs to go one step ahead, right? And then we have this very interesting solution called data on the cloud, which is Tally on Wheels. Again, one more chartered accountant came up with this very interesting solution, which has interesting templates for GSTR 9 and 9C automation. So probably, it's just a small clip which you notice actually there, what is the login process. You could go ahead and create your account, right? You could go ahead and, perform some transactions. You could go ahead and set up the account. Once you have set up, your balance sheet P&L gets, you have to do a one-time mapping, but every time after that, it takes care of it automatically. The balance sheet is available. Schedule 3 is available. You could go to those specific notes. You could go to those specific notes and sections. You could have a very interesting thing, which is my personal favorite, is analysis. Negative balance in cash ledger. It can audit all of these ledgers, what you're noticing there, right? It can help you out with expense ledger, and it can tell you what are all the payments, are there bad debts, are there tedious violations, right? So you could probably see all of those cases, right? It has interbank entries, something impacting solvency, coverage ratios, and a lot of fancy stuff, right? Go ahead and explore that solution. Next is, many people ask me, sir, are there solutions to track compliances or manage things? So this is the set of software. Simplify Practice has an MOU. Pepilio has an MOU with our ICA. Jumco also, I think, has an MOU. You can just go ahead. Jumco was the software which I made a mention, which brings that automatic feed from the income tax website by way of some integration with pending notices and a lot of those interesting things. Bittrex is another open-ended solution which you have to customize a little bit, right? Many of them do these due diligences, right? These are an example. Insta Financials. Type the name of the company, make the payment, it'll give you a ready-made report. And this is how a ready-made report looks like. You need to validate it, please validate it. But it gives you a very interesting thing: basic information, financial highlights, schedule breakup, ownership, borrowings, financial statements, ratio analysis, schedule breakup. Look at that, the number of schedules, right? This picks up from MCA and wherever publicly information is available, directors details, establishment details. Sometimes it also gives you litigation details, which I was quite surprised. I've used these in cases of due diligences and quite high. And those of you who want to prepare dashboards, right? This is a simple dashboard which is possible through Power BI, right? So I'm just talking about various tools available because, I didn't want to go too much into the tool, but just give a flavor of what these tools can do, so that you get a sense of it. And Power BI is one classical example for you to build an analytics dashboard. Again, decide the use case. If you feel that client is able to get value out of it or your own firm is able to get value out of it, go ahead and build this dashboard. And these are all available at an affordable price, right? Power BI, at least the basic version, is available for free, right? Go ahead and try it. You may not be able to share it. It has some restrictions, but nothing wrong in Word. So you feel, no, I want a automated system, a web-based system, either go for Power BI, go ahead and use Zoho, Zoho Analytics, right? That's another very interesting tool, right? So each scenario has various examples which you can go ahead and explore. Right? So these are few other examples. Other apps. Idea is another very interesting solution. ACL, we spoke about ECAT, etc. Power BI, Tableau. MDA is another audit tool which has an integration with Tally. NIME is a very interesting tool which is used for advanced analytics. It has some, you can also build AI, ML algorithms or models also based on that. Tableau is a very popular tool again. So for those who are working remotely or you want to have a remote setup, there's another very interesting subscription. This suite of tools is only the tools which I subscribed during COVID, right? It helped me to just set up my work from home in a few clicks. Click, meeting, connect, work drive, sprint, assist, lens. These are just a few examples. There's again the entire Zoho suite of products which I use. We use extensively Zoho suite of products in our office, and it's been fairly good. Few reasons which we believe is it is locally hosted, India, right? Second is compliance requirement. They have all of their cybersecurity, other GDPR, data privacy, and other things, right? And third, it's a make in India product. What more you want, right? Promote our local products at the end of the day. Remembering passwords, I think I made a mention of this. Split key, LastPass, Zoho Vault. These are all few examples which can help you to safeguard passwords. And people today keep on asking me this question: how do I adopt to AI? These are a few examples of AI which was there much before ChatGPT. Much before ChatGPT. Imagine with ChatGPT coming in, how much more scenarios can come. Just wait, I'll take you through that. ChatGPT has got a subscription-based model for a premium version. Those of you interested, it's about $20. Go ahead, explore. At least for 1 month, go try it. First, try the basic version, and then go ahead and see how to use it. It's very important that you know how to write the appropriate prompt in a ChatGPT, right? So that you get the response. Just on a lighter note, I heard from somebody very recently that in their interview process, they're asking questions to their candidates. How will you use ChatGPT to produce this following result? And this is a practical test they're giving them, right? Practical test. Because today we are all know that we are going to use technology in various. So the guy who knows how to use the technology better is a little edge over the rest, right? So these are a few examples with AI tools. In case you want to use your own Microsoft Office, these are few examples. PowerPoint has a feature called Design Ideas. 80% to 90% of my presentation is prepared using Microsoft Suite's Design Ideas, which automates the designing activity. I don't spend too much time into it, right? Excel has a beautiful feature called Flash Fill. Go ahead and explore in case you've not used it. Ideas is my personal favorite in Excel. hang on, I have to announce something more on Microsoft which has come up, which is very exciting. I'll show you a live demo as well. Word again has got this dictation software, read aloud, resume assistant. Outlook has got email reader, scheduler, etc. But powered by ChatGPT, Microsoft Office goes to the next extent, and that is called as Copilot. That's called Copilot, Microsoft's Copilot, right? Let's see how it works. Copilot, I'm telling, draft a product announcement based on this particular Word file. It is generating a beautiful output for you, right? And it gives various text and parameters. All that you need to do is alter it and modify, right? And this is going to be released by Microsoft very soon. It's currently at their prototype testing. And imagine if this comes into Excel. You want to see how it looks like? You want to see how it looks like? Yeah, let's see how it looks like. Copilot in Excel. I am amazed by the way this could work. Imagine how much of your analytics and analysis can be done automatically through Excel. Here it is. So you have an Excel sheet. You are telling it, analyze this business quarter results. Here is your answer. It's giving you key trends. You're asking it to give a breakdown. It creates a new sheet with a beautiful analysis. Mind blown by this idea, right? Help me visualize this better. Here's your graph, right? You can make some color coding, right? You want to have a reusable container. What if scenario, you call it, right? What happens in these sort of scenarios? It creates a model. Those of you into valuation, this is extremely good, right? You're summarizing this, what happens, what is the, right? Or what is the impact it would have on the sales? It can be graphs. Right? And let me tell you, we are in very, very exciting times, my dear friends. I think if you know how to use these technologies, you can probably be just going to the next level, is what I think. Right? So that's basically what it is. I spoke of ChatGPT, what it can do for you. And I thought I'll show you a live demonstration of ChatGPT, how it can help. I have logged into ChatGPT. I'm just going to type, hey, help me with an internal audit memo. Right? Okay, so I think it's US time, so it is sort of not responding. Otherwise, it would have given me, because I am using the basic version. So the reason why it is not responding or you're not able to see my difference is because of the intense pressure or the heavy load. I have noticed this especially in ever since its launch. During the evening time, ChatGPT tends to get more crowded than that of the morning time, right? So probably I may have to refresh, I may have to try 3-4 times, and it might work. But it gives you a very interesting set of prompts, right? So let me try once again. Help me with an internal audit memo. Right? And here it is trying to help me to solve this. It is thinking and it is drafting an internal audit memo. It's going to take a few minutes, right? You can notice that certainly it can assist you, right? It talking about what you have to write, how do you have to write, and things like this. It is generating a little slowly because, as I said, evening times it takes a little slower. Morning times you are much more fast, right? And this is just one example. There are hundreds of things which you can use, right? I could probably just stop generating and I can ask, give me 5 tests to perform on procurement data, right? So give me 5 tests. Of course, as I said, it takes a little longer. It takes a little longer, as I said, because it's trying to read the conversation, etc. Maybe after a few refresh, it'll again work. So what I wanted to give you a purpose and a perspective is that, hey, we are talking about the next era of technology which is there. And if you thought only ChatGPT was the only solution, no. These are all few examples of 20 plus AI solutions which are there, which can be used in different things. Right? Durable AI website builder, 30 seconds you can build a website. Digital organization to manage your day-to-day activities. A sidekick helps to schedule your meetings. Figma AI design tools, DID, an AI tool to create digital avatars. So I'm telling you, my dear friends, the era of intelligent technology has just begun. And what Microsoft has smartly done, and I'm sure Google and other players, Amazon also is doing this, they're enabling open AI applications which people through customization can build into their products. So tomorrow, probably your Tally or Zoho could have chat GPT integration and can analyze your bank statement and automatically pass the entries, right? So we're talking about very, very, very exciting times, right? So with that, I'll probably pause for a few minutes to take any questions before I move on to, how do I gear up for the future and what are my interesting times?
Recording in progress.
People
Okay.
ask about different types of softwares that they can use.
I've already given a perspective of that. If you want more, I think one very good publication which you could refer is the DCMM publication itself, where a lot of softwares are there, DCMM 2.0. There is another guide which towards the end I will showcase it to you. There is a summarized view of all of these softwares. This is again another ICA publication. It is called as a guide to operate as a virtual accounting firm, right? I think that's basically how the nomenclature. Again, one more guide which I had a humble opportunity to co-author along with my mentor, CA Rafiq Abdul. So we brought in a lot of thought process as to how a CA firm can become completely virtual, starting from policies, action, thought process, everything is there, right? I think what is only not there is your time and dedication. How do you implement it, right? I think that's a very nice solution.
All right. So, any tools to find out PMLA cases?
There are some advanced solutions, sir. Not that I can think of any name as of now. I'm sorry for that. But there are some subscriptions. I think Thomson Reuters has one very interesting subscription-based solution for all these anti-money laundering or AML cases. These are again not publicly available, but you have certain solutions. Again, I've worked with a couple of clients, but I cannot disclose their names at this point in time. But there are tools available.
All right. So, all in all, questions are almost covered, sir.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. This is where I like it because most of your questions I go through a thought process because I'm also on the other side, right? It's not that I speak something and I practice something else. No, I more or less try to hand in glove go with this entire setup. And as much as possible, I'm giving you insights how a small firm, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 doesn't matter, how you should probably transition into the next phase. And there are some other things which normally people ask me, sir, how do I work with this? How do I work with that? I just thought I'll show you a couple of live cases while my screen is sort of loading, right? I think I gave you this use case of Chat GPT, right? There is this another thing which came across, which is called as a Quillbot. There's another AI-based solution. You could type some sample text, right? Hello, I am doing a session for DAB ICI, right? You could paraphrase it and it will give it to you, right? It will paraphrase it. It will give you some sort of today I will be presenting at the DAB ICI, right? You could have it simple, a lot of these variants. Of course, you could have formal, informal, fluency, and all of those things. So there's another very interesting solution. Another solution is called Notion. Notion is basically a note-taking and your wiki document sharing sort of a solution. Again, worthwhile to go ahead and give it a try. I'm talking about all new age solutions, right? New age solutions. So solutions are available. You have to decide where you want to do it, right? Ask AI anything, just press space on a new line, let AI handle the first graph for you, right? Again, try AI now, it says, let's go ahead and try. right? On a new line, press space on your keyboard for AI to generate or edit the page. So it says, I've just pressed space. Give me a blog, write a blog post about, let's say, digital accounting, right? And I'm asking AI to write it, and this is where the fun is. Look at this: the rise of digital accountant, enhanced accuracy, time saving, access to real time data. And let me tell you, the reality: we will in future we will not get to know who's written what, whether AI is written or what it is, right? So a lot of funny stuff like this is there today in the market. Many people ask me, Microsoft, what is your licensing cost, right? Microsoft Office 365 for business, right? There's another common question which many people ask. So business 365, here is your plan. I'm just navigating it there for businesses and enterprise. Switch to India. Thank you for that reminder, my friend. I think it is covered somewhere within here. Give me a minute. Here it is. Okay. They've increased their pricing. Okay. GST as applicable 136 rupees. It was, I think, 125. I think maybe because of the dollar rate increase. So Microsoft 365 Basic. This will give you all the features, but it will give you a web-based feature, web mobile version of Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. If you want the Office 365 standard license, it's 719, right? If you want Microsoft 365 without a email ID, it is 650. It was 550 earlier. Now they've increased it. You have some standard features, etc. You can see what is the plethora of options which is available. This is one. Microsoft is one of the only solutions where you can have onto your computer or onto your system, um, uh, which unlike a cloud link, in addition to a cloud link as well. If you want other free softwares, right? Free, what is this? Office productivity tools, right? You will have these things. Smartsheet is an example. Google Docs, Office 365, Apple iWork. Uh, LibreOffice is also quite good, right? It's a free and open source software which you can notice over here. The basically productivity linked sort of a solution. Then many of them ask, sir, ICA benefits CCMB committee for members in CCMB. I think ICA. I'm not sure if I typed it right. Committee C. Okay, whatever. Committee for members and practice. If you go there, I think they have their own dedicated website. Sorry, give me a minute. Yeah, here it is. CMP benefits. Again, my personal favorite. Lot of solutions which is available. Right. Please go to this committee initiatives. I think they speak about various products. And by the way, they have a, this is not technologically related, but ICSA has got a super top up policy, health insurance. And please, members, in case you're not taken a health insurance for you and your family, please go ahead and take it. HDFC Group Purna Suraksha for your entire office. If you want to take, go ahead and take it. Professional indemnity, right? All of these things. Software product is very exciting. Tally, I think most of us have been using it historically, so I'll not go too much into it. Papilio, this is the software which I told you. Antivirus software is there. GST annual retirement, annual return, beg your pardon. What else is there? Cordial, I think Cordial is now acquired by Papilio. Zoho accounting software is here, right? Let's go into each of those. Papilio for practitioners, right? It's an available. You just have to click and we download, and it will sort of take you through a navigation page. How do I get the Papilio access? What is the pricing and other things, right? So here you have papilio.ica.html. You can get it for free. Next you have antivirus protection, not free, but what is the price? I'm sorry. Antivirus software facility. Then this is for Cordial, again, some sort of a package which is there. Yeah, this is very interesting for Zoho Books for chartered accountants, and I think it gives it for free for 3 years, right? So access to Zoho Books, again, a lot of features for chartered accountants. They have built it, and they give you Zoho Books. You do this accounting for your client and charge them, your choice, or use it for your own office, right? Expense management, payroll management, right? Your own payroll, you can probably manage it, etc. What are the other tools? There is this Razor Payroll. think they get they have an automated, I'm sorry, I think I opened my dashboard. I'm sorry for that. Razor Pay payroll. Let me see if it can goes into the first. Hopefully, it doesn't get into my screen. Yeah, here it is. All right. So look at this payroll software with automated compliance. Look at this automated. So PF, ESA, everything it will take care. 3 months plan, no plan if you want for free, you can take it. Right. So this is basically how it is. You can manage your employees. You can pay your employees. That's very important, right? You are processing salary, load their wallet, automatically make the payment. Right. We've been using it and works lovely. HR management, leave management, group health insurance also is there. If you want, you can automate your statutory compliance, etc. Recommended plan, the pro. Look at this. They have a free plan, free forever, no asterisk, no condition. Quite interesting. But it can do only certain things. It cannot go beyond certain things, right? So again, obviously, every free solution has its own cost, right? Zoho Invoice is another thing which I wanted to give you an idea. Beautiful software again. Free invoicing software for small businesses, right? You could create a very nice professional invoice, right? You can send invoices on time effectively, right? You can receive payments on time thanks to your integrations, right? How you could work, a lot of fancy stuff, right? And at the same time, privacy or security, right? So these are things. Just Zoho is very exciting for me always by the mere fact that the number of softwares they have, right? Look at this, from a CRM to workplace to Zoho one. I don't know. The list is endless, right? I in fact get lost by seeing just the number of solutions they have, right? I don't know. They've come up with landing, Thrive, webinar. Personally, I find this company very exciting and fascinating. Next is on. Sorry, I'm just giving you a perspective because many of them keep on asking me, sir, how do I do that? How do I do this? Because it is, I have to take you through the entire journey. That's what I firmly believe. Anything else which is from an automation, etc. Somebody was asking tally entry and other things, right? So I'll take you through this company called Windsor Infotech. And they have a very interesting solutions. Look at the solutions. I often am surprised by, and this is developed by a chartered accountant, very nice set of solutions. ECAT suite, which is all about, analytics, analyzing the software, what you can do, what is the BI based solutions which you can, right? And I think they have a lot of tutorials available. You can just go ahead and explore. My personal favorite, I told you, is taking data from Excel and pushing into Tally, right? Which is available here. It's called as automation suite, which is E to Tally, right? Next is Tally on Wheels, another solution which I spoke of, right? It has interesting features where you can revolutionize your audit process, right? Each of these tasks is under 3 minutes with unlimited usage at approximately 300 rupees per company, right? It makes a lot of sense. Go ahead and give it a try. This is, I think I was told GSTR 9 and 9C is very easy with this particular software. People are using it. Even in Tally, even in Windsor, I noticed this. They have some features where you can go ahead. Sorry, TCAT, they have a few features you can go ahead and explore. Then we spoke about last class, which is a password software. Right? Could probably help you to sort of manage it, secure your passwords and store them across devices, safeguard and whatnot, right? So I think the other thing which I spoke of, my again personal favorite is Vault10 backup. Yeah, another very nice company based out of India, servers located in India, and they were fairly affordable. Right, 2,000 to 3,000 rupees per month is a fairly affordable cost, and I don't even think it will be more than 2,000 to 3,000. At least if your size is small, right? Interesting sort of features, and the biggest advantage which I have is the data is encrypted. So even if there is a data loss, it is that nobody can play around with it, and the best sort of solution for anti-malware and other stuff, right? So yeah, that's basically where it is. So I'm coming to the last part of my talk, and where I want to make a mention of how do I gear up for the challenge? What is it that I need to, right? So in order to gear up for this challenge, the first thing is you need to sense the need. What is the need? How do I automate? What is it that I bring in? Right? It could be as simple as writing a macro in Excel. By the way, you can ask your chat GPT to write a macro in Excel, take that into your Excel VBA script, copy paste it, and it can do wonders for you. Right? So it's all about how you sort of use them, right? Explore and research. In the digital age, technology is just a click away. Explore. If your mind is curious and you are always excited, I think you'll always get solutions. Test before you commit. Very, very, very important. Very important. I may have generated reports from ChatGPT, but I will never share it with the client product. I will read through every line and sentence, because at the end of the day, client is dependent on me as a chart accountant, me as Narsimhan Ilango, me as a professional, not on ChatGPT. Right? Imagine you went and told your chat GPT, I have cough, cold, all of these, whatever, and it says that you have some fancy disease, whereas in reality, probably it was just a small dust allergy or a small this thing, right? So you obviously cannot trust it completely. So test before you commit. Standardize the process. Very important. Most of us fail in this, and that's where normally I suggest firms, members, professionals. I think you need to come together. One person, it is impossible today, right? That's why the C Institute also has come up with a lot of these networking guidelines. I think you have to clearly put in roles and responsibilities in addition to your operational work. One person in charge of office automation, one person in charge of client business development, one person in charge of core execution, right? You need to have that. And if you feel, no, sir, I'm finding it a little challenging, I'll tell you 2, 3 strategies, right? Those young members, especially. Instead of you trying to go ahead and form committees, members, etc., go ahead and join existing firms. Why? Sir, many of the existing firms, if you see the statistics of our CA firms, right? I think 98% of the CA firms in India are sole proprietary concerns, or maybe 95%. That's still a huge number, right? They don't have succession plans. And I'm sure they have a good client base, right? Now, who's going to take care of that? Go ahead, join them. It's okay, even for a few years, 3 years, 5 years, you get paid less, no problem. Your platform is set. You now take the practice to the next level, right? I think that's a very important thing which we have to address. And don't wait for results immediately. Just even my chat GPT did not give my results immediately, right? It took some time. So results you will not get immediately. Be patient, right? You will get it. And over a point in time, maybe that so-called senior becomes an advisor, probably a lesser profit share. That's okay. At the end of the day, you're winning, right? Measure the results. One of the best way to measure the results, I'll tell you, especially if you're into practice. Every 6 months, prepare your resume. I repeat, every 6 months, prepare your resume. Why? Because you will realize what is the difference between the last time you prepared your resume versus now. Hey, boss, I've not learned anything in 6 months. That's the ignition point. That's the trigger point, right? That's your bulb which is sort of blown, right? So one of the features which people write is a good feature to write in resume is, I know how to give a good prompt in chat GPT to get an answer. Wow, that's a wonderful skill set to have today. And don't think, sir, what are you speaking only about chat GPT? I'm talking about what is the era which we are living in today. And that's the reality, right? That's the reality, right? So again, a common question, sir, what are the areas which I can automate in my office? Here is a simple list: payroll, timesheet, invoice reconciliation, document management, task tracking allocation, rolling out checklist, backup, periodic return filing. You can build some sort of automation suites on that. Preparation of financials. Some if Tally has got a feature where you can import data automatically into Excel, refresh it, your financials can get prepared. It's called ODBC. You can go ahead and try that. Periodical reminders. This is just a very, very illustrative things, right? Many of them keep on asking me, sir, people come to my office for doing articleship interview. I spend 1 or 2 hours in interview, but the candidate says no. I find that the candidate is not very great. So what do I do? Simple. Prepare a Google form, prepare the questions, send them or her the questions, go through that entire thing. If you feel satisfied, only then call for an interview. So much of time saved, right? So it's all about how you play your cards. Somebody says, sir, we are not able to hire people, we are having a heavy shortage, etc. Go to an app called HireEct, HIRECT, Hire Direct, HireEct. Go post your requirements. I think 5 resumes per day it will give you for free. Post it 10 days in advance, 50 resumes you have. What more you want, right? So technology today is available in a click of a button. The way you navigate it and use it is left up to you. Remember, you are the driver. Whether you lead it to a sea or you go climb the hill is your choice, right? So few other relevant guidance is, I as always share some bit of freebies and extra knowledge. This is one very interesting, slightly old, but it definitely has value. I think it's called the Future of Audit. There's a framework which is prepared by EY, which talks about an accounting plus skills framework. So if you want to survive in today's era, what are the things which you require? Analytical skills in these terms, personal skills, very important. Work on this, work on personal skills. Why? This is something which chat gpt cannot teach you. You have to have the soft skills, convincing people, communicating with the staff, right? Very important. This is something which I personally follow in our office. A client might give a negative feedback, or some sort of an inadvertent thing. It could be anything, right? Be the first person to go ahead and take that, right? But don't pass on exactly the same way, right? Your employees, maybe they've done the mistake, but you have to be more professional enough to put it across in the right way, right? And I make it as it's a part of my personal work ethic, right? Just because a client has blasted me for whatever, I'm not saying that I may have been wrong or the client himself is wrong. Understand and analyze and then decide whether to pass it on, right? So these are all things how you develop the mindset, how you think, right? The knowledge, accounting knowledge and other things, which is obviously necessary. The last is my favorite: understanding disruptive technologies, right? So that's basically a nice framework which you can look into. There again, you look into my YouTube video channel. A lot of these tools I've spoken of. Very good for you to go ahead and give it a try. This is the guide which I was talking about, which we developed during the pandemic time, 2020. I'm not able to trace where it is in the ICA website, but you can definitely go ahead. So this is one more thing which you can think of. This is strategic roadmap for virtual accounting firms, right? My key message to all of you is the world's biggest problem are the world's biggest opportunities, right? So if you think it's a problem today, treat it as an opportunity and how you can become better. And I think that's where all of you will head into. On that note, thank you so much for being a patient audience. This is a quick overview of our firm, Ken & Co. We are a firm based out of Bangalore, specializing in core technology, analytics, data privacy, ISO, IT audits, etc. And many of us ask, sir, what do you do in IT audit? This is just a sample list of things which I normally do in our office. It's a regular affair of what we actually do, right? So that brings me to the end. Happy to be connected with you folks on LinkedIn or any of the social media plugs. And that's on the other corner is my NGO CAPS Foundation. These are all pro bono sessions. So if you feel something is of a value addition, you feel something you want to contribute, go ahead to CAPS Foundation and donate. I'll be more than happy. We do a lot of interesting things there. So that's basically on this space. And happy to take your questions and feedback if you have any for the next few minutes. And I'll stop it here because I think Shirish ji is also there who will take up the next part of the discussion.
Okay, sir. That was, I must say, a genius explanation. Concluded with great examples and quite a detailed session. Wonderfully spoken, wonderfully drafted. And with this, we have not much time left, so I'd move on with the next session with Shirish Deshpande sir. So a brief introduction of Shirish ji is Shirish ji is a chartered accountant and CISA with experience in financial audits, system audits, and ITGC audits. Has been a VP at Citibank, New York, USA as Treasury Controls and Compliance Officer. He's a specialist in consultancy in SOX, risk assessments, SOC 2 compliances, US SAP reviews for pharma industry. Sir is also a trainee for Information System Audit, ISA. He's a frequent speaker on cyber laws and cyber crimes at various institutions and platforms. Apart from that, Sir is also an honorary member of FinCorp Forum set by the Pune Police Commission Office. He's the co-founder of and past president of Pune chapter of Information System Audit and AMP Control Association, Osaka, USA. Sir has also been a writer on various forums. So without further ado, Shirish sir, please take over.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And wonderful session by my colleague Narsian. We are together as a DISA faculty, CISA faculty across the India. And he is the young chartered accountant with the Technosavi. I give always the example of Narsihan as a chartered accountant and technology chartered accountant. He has taken a lot of pain and he has presented wonderful presentation for DCMM. Actually, nothing is left for me, but definitely I have to stand 1 hour. Let us see how we can. And thank you, Narsian. Thank you, Institute's office bearers. Thank you, Narsian. You have Narsian. Actually, you have done all your presentation amazing. I have not seen a chartered accountant with such an technology depth knowledge, and I'm sure all the members, 800 participants are listening to you, and they must be a spellbound, because I know you personally. We have together for the DISA faculties, and we always look forward to you for new things. And I appreciate your efforts for the chartered accountants community. And you have not spared, you have personally shared everything about your practice. It is a very excellent example for everyone. I'm sure people will be bombarding on you for so many questions, and let them come. And I'm taking the pride that what you have taken a majority chunk of the today's session, and I will try my best, definitely, to cater this institute's purpose. I am thankful for the institute. I am thankful for the Nandaji, thankful Amitji and Sudhanshuji of the Institute of Chartered Accountants. They are always in search of new talent. And absolutely wonderful session by Narsian. I really have no words to say thank you. Thank you. But still, we have to say thank you. And I will start. I will share my screen first. Are you able to see?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So because I will not be getting feedback from the participants, so that you be there to help me out if at all you miss the screen. So friends, really it is a wonderful session and so many new things for learning for me also. And I'm sure you will be benefited by this today's session. And Institute has already given the introduction. I have last 20 years, more than 20 years working in the system only. I was working with New York City Bank as a treasury compliance officer for the technology regulatory compliances. I have gathered a lot of experience, and I'm going to share some of them during the walkthrough. What we are going to do today's session is basically we will pass on this first. This is only a normal disclaimer, and I have divided my total presentation in the 6 slides for introduction, and then we'll be walking through the PDF which is prepared by the institute. First is why DCMM to be done, then what is your digital identity, and summary and conclusion for introductory part. Now let us come to the why. This is very important because as a chartered accountant, you will be thinking why I'm required to do this. And if you are convinced why, definitely I'm sure that you will be taking next step. Now, this whole set by the institute, which has started in 2017, which is updated in 2019, 2022, this standard. Remember, this is a self-assessment tool. Self-assessment tool for yourself. You understand where you are and start from somewhere. And Institute has not only raised the question, but step-by-step guide they have given. And I'm sure that what you have learned for last 1-2 hours, the Narsian has given exact roadmap what you should do. Why? That question I'm again and again going to ask you, that you hereafter will depend on technology. But don't worry. Don't worry. Why I'm saying don't worry? Because the chartered accountants having certain pre-biased opinion about the technology may face this as a difficult part. But there is a way. Always remember, there is a way. Just now, Mr. Narsihan told you that come together. If you have crossed the age 50, 60, take younger chartered accountant with you and deploy them on this. I'm sure that young people have more energy and they have more tools. Whatever tools you have seen, if those are deployed, your 50% of the time, which is going in the day-to-day matters, will be saved. And that is a time which you utilize for your expertise, giving your advice, helping clients, helping students. And from this point, remember whatever we are going to see next 1 hour, I'm sure you will be benefited that how exactly the recipe of actual work will be discussing. As a chartered accountant, I'm telling you why you need to learn DCMM, because this DCMM currently has no any value attached. For example, it is up to you. It is for your benefit. It is not at all a peer review now. But Institute was having an intention to use this as peer review. Don't think this is only for small and medium-sized firms. But even bigger firms, which I know, they don't have anything about this. They don't have anything of IT. They depend on some outside service. So start now. Unless you start, you will not come to know what are the difficulties and why you require to do this. Because India has a dynamic economics of the business. Means what? It is my personal opinion. It is not the institute's opinion. Personal opinion is that the 50% businesses of India till today or for future are governed by the cash, agriculture, and small traders. So this business community will remain with us throughout the life. But remaining 50% of the clients will definitely demanding these skills. So your growth of firm, your succession of firm will depend on combination of the both, the traditional practice and new avenues. New avenues, whatever are there, they are all technology based, but that does not mean that your business will be going. No, but client will be benefited by your advice, your judgment, not only with the solutions, but whatever value addition you are going to do. How you are going to do the value addition? You will be doing only value addition on the basis of learning. I'm telling you, at my age, even when I crossed the 60, because of these institutes, many platforms, many cyber-related crimes and so many things, I'm learning everything, something new, and that is keeping me active. So learning is going to keep you active. New data protection bill is already tabled in the parliament. Listen to it very carefully. New data protection bill has been presented in the parliament. Earlier bill was lagging so many things for last 3 years. New information technology minister is very aggressive. Government is very aggressive. When new data protection bill comes into the existence, yours and my and all consultants' life will be becoming more difficult, because currently how we are using our computer systems, which we are going to learn, what we have learned last 2 hours, we have to sort out all the things to be ready for data protection bill. I'm telling you, this is the opportunity for the chartered accountants, because what is going to happen? What data you store in your computer will be governed by this new data protection law. If client permits you to share his data, then only you are allowed to share. Currently, how we are using? On email, our staff is using his personal email, sending Excel file, sending on this communication side, everything will be governed by the data protection bill. Now, this is the opportunity for you chartered accountants to cater to the new clients. How? Because doctors, lawyers, and so many other firms who are currently not having any system at all, or if they have only tally. So, for the chartered accountants who are the domain experts, who are having an internal control expert, they will be helping clients to how to store this data. How you will be helping? You have to create your own house ready for this type of service. This type of tools, some tools will come which will be attached to tally, and you have to help client that, okay, enter the data here, so that take the permission from the client, get the form filled, and store the data according to his intention. Nobody can share the data without the permission of client. Doctors, lawyers, individual construction consultants, architects, all types of service provider will not be having any service other than the chartered accountants to do this. So this is the opportunity. In order to get benefit of the new law or whatever is coming, you have to prepare your own house. You have to make your order, make your office in order. Check what is not there. Check what we require. And slowly, you will come to know. Because of this DCMM, you will come to know. And DCMM will be telling you what exactly will be done. We are going to walk through section B and section C. Other sections have been covered by Mr. Narsian. Now, what will happen? This level 1, level 2, level 3 already discussed by Narsian. I will not be going into that. Next is when peer review happens, because see, we compare all the chartered accountants, my currently friends of mid-sized firm, that, oh, we are not getting any big audits. We are not getting. You will surely will be getting the big audits if you prepare yourself in best manner for the computer savvy atmosphere. And as Narsina said, if 3-4 partners are there, one partner has to designate himself as a technology related activity, and he has to train other partners towards that. Next is this, even though this is for mid-size and small firms, the institute's clear intention is even big-size firm can use these templates and make themselves self-assessment with where they are. Because it is not prevented where institute might be under the impression, or even I am under impression, that big firms will have all these IT questions already solved, already set. But I'm sure that many of the chartered accountant firms, which are just on border, slowly moving up, mid-size, upper mid-size, lower mid-size. So all those firms are required to take help of this tool. Now, for your information, the initial clip which you have seen, which is shown, you visit to DLP portal, log into that, and go through all these questions, give the answers, and that certificate will be printed at in. So this is the way the institute is preparing you where you are. And again, after 3 months, you check those questions, mark them 1, 2, 3, 4, and you will understand the progress. So one of your employee, one of your partner have to take lead into it. Why? I'm going to tell you some more reasons also, and then you will understand why. Because currently I'm working especially in the cybercrime, and so many of my clients, and I'm writing in the papers what type of crimes are happening. It is a mind-boggling. Every day, tremendous FIRs are filed, and so many frauds are happening. It is our duty to protect our office, our partner's office, our client's office. Otherwise, what will happen, if you're not aware of the technology, simple controls, then what is going to happen? We are going to lose, our friends are going to lose, our family is likely to lose, and clients are likely to use. How you will be computer savvy? Unless you bring everything in order, unless you take the interest in the technology, this is not going to happen. For example, I will share with you that you must have heard that in last week only, Durga police in Jharkhand found 3 people, SSA failed, and they are technology expert. What they have done, they have created 1,000 fake website, similarly looking like official websites of all big names. Kia Motors, Amazon, Patanjali, Domino's Pizza, Bajaj Finzer. And what they are saying, website is created and that website has small difference. Instead of Kia, they will say kiaservice.com. And everything looks like Kia. And what is the advertisement of that? We want to give the franchisee in a smaller town like Nashik. And letters are printed. Minimum deposit is 5 lakhs rupees. They have collected huge deposits from the people. People have paid 5 lakhs rupees and got the letter that your franchise agreement will be sent. And finally, it was found it is bogus. New tea sample has come, new tea company. Everybody wants franchising in the remote place. So unless you are computer savvy, unless you read, unless you take the interest, unless you check your discipline, it is not possible. Now ransomware attacks are happening like anything. And many of the chartered accountants, my friends in Pune, they are suffering, they are losing. Why? Because they don't have adequate backup facility. How backup is to be taken? See, just now we have seen that Narsihan has explained that how the backup has to be taken. If you don't take the backup, what will happen? If ransomware attacks comes and if the tally data is there inside, you had it. So have a proper solution of the cloud backups. And that cloud backup, even the paid backup is paid by you. So even though the ransomware attack comes, clean the machine, reload everything, take the backup from this. So how that's possible? That is possible only when you set up all your office practices in controlled manner. And in controlled manner, not 1 or 2 things. You have to do everything. And that is very important, that how you take backup. I'm going to come back to you when that slide comes. Now, your client will be coming to you. Oh, this is my new contract with my foreign vendor. And if you don't know anything about the technology, you don't know about the AI and chat GPT, then you will have the problems, because then client will see that I will go with someone else that who understand the technology, because my business will be technology. So if chartered accountant do not understand the technology, definitely client will go down. Bringing house in order, that is a basic requirement today's world, which we are going to see one by one. Just now, Narsihan has given all the examples of OneDrive and everything. I'm not going to go into that. Only one thing I will add here, why we require policies process. And then we will walk through the next slide. Let us come back. Yeah, this is already two things only I will add here. If you don't take domain name of your firm, somebody else will be taking your domain name. And then what will happen? If time comes, you will require to buy that domain name from them. So have your domain name registered, have your Instagram registered, have your Facebook registered, whatever your firm name is there, so that nobody else will be using that. That is the first precaution. Second thing is, when you have the domain name, you can create your website, which Narsihan has just now explained. You can put all your routine matters on that website. Your time will be saved. Don't worry about the copy and paste. People getting all the information, everything is available on the net. There is nothing proprietary, but the way you will serve to the client, that satisfied client will be bringing you another client. And that is the only thing you have to keep in mind, that how I can update everything from my side. Definitely about social media, we'll come back to that at latter part. Let me show you. Let us start one by one from our Just give me a couple of minutes. I will be just. Now visible? Sampurna?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Visible, visible.
Yeah. Sorry for the little bit confusion. So friends, we will be seeing now some of the actual pages, and then we'll be coming back to my presentation again. Now, first is a development of the talent. And very important is that you spend the time to train yourself and then train the others. What this means? That first is your computer setup. Now you have to depend on either outside service or your own person. If you have sufficient computers, even you can think of appointing someone to as a system administrator who will be looking after every day. Don't think that you will be able to do yourself, because considering doing the practice and managing the IT system altogether different. But definitely there are many services available even from the outside. So what is there? That whether you have inside house administrator, currently when you do the self-assessment, don't worry about these marks. Initially you may not have this all. Okay, 0, 0, 0. But you will understand that you need to do that. How you will be doing? You can take a vendor. If you are not able to do it yourself, you appoint a vendor who will be managing your IT system. Because nowadays, lot of IT hardware engineers are available because their business has reduced because of the online business. So you catch up your hardware person, train him, give him the money to learn something, and ask him to do your outside vendor service so that he can manage your IT department. Now, implementation guide is same, that how you will be doing that everywhere. This step-by-step guide you can use. Definitely that will be useful. Then we'll go to the next point, that how many of the firm staff are formally trained. See, these are the simple skills. You think that senior person can teach. Definitely the senior person can teach. But I will recommend that all of your staff must undergo a specially training coaching class. You need to pay say 1,000, 5,000 rupees and let them get a complete knowledge of everything. What will happen, if they learn presentation, if they learn all the things about the spreadsheet, your time will be saved. You don't require to teach them. Definitely having a formal training, and definitely I will tell you that so many college students are available for training, coming to your office and conducting the training regularly. So help them to teach your staff. Even that is possible. Now, here we are saying email and internet skills, very important. Because what happens, the chartered accountants lack in the presentation skill, but that is a 50% rule. All fresh chartered accountants, they are equipped with the latest technological help, and definitely they are better in the communication skill. Still, I will tell you my experience about the internet and writing skills and communication skill. When first I landed in the New York with the Citibank, my director told me that Shirish, you have to learn how to write the emails in typical Indian language. Whatever emails I have written in initial days. Remember, I went to US after age of 50. So definitely I was not having well communication skills that time, but internationally I learned from them. My director told me that instead of writing story of 50 sentences, write that story in 10 sentences. What you want, write in 10 sentences. So that is the way we require to train our staff. That is a way that we have to tell the staff that they should have the salutation, they should write the subject, they should not say that CC to all. At end, they should write what exactly you are looking for. So this type of small things are very much important. I learned in US that not to write that refer emails below and tell me what I need to do. If there are 10 emails, my bosses in US were telling that we don't have time. You write in 2-3 sentences. That's all. So combining those sentences is skills. Now see what they are saying. What do you have an automatic workflow system? For example, if you are using any of the office software, they will be telling a systematic way that what if you want to raise invoice, where is the timesheet? What are the rates? So that itself will develop the workflow. So if you use such tools, that will be excellent methodology. Otherwise, what happens, that every time we, as a partner or chartered accountant, will require to spend time. And that's what we are going to learn today, that if you make a process work in your office, everybody's time will be saved. And if the common share drive, everybody is keeping everything there, the other person will come to know to take from there and to take to next level. So this is one of the method. Then see, these questions will be very excellent for your understanding what you need to do. The institute has purposely drafted and all the experts have contributed. There is a repetition. Many places there may be a repetition, but don't worry, that repetition is necessary to carry out that function. These questions are actually functions in your office. And if you see from that angle, you need to train your people from that line. We are going to come to IT security. As I need to tell you, the Information Technology Act 2000 and 2008 requires computer security is responsibility of the owner. So who is the owner? If in your chartered accountant firm, you are the owner. You have to ensure that IT security is properly built. And we'll be seeing in one of the example that if you don't build security, what will happen? Now, next is now see what will happen is if you have a proper process, definitely that will help to create a documentation. And so that if client asks you any evidence, definitely through these emails and through your process, you can prove what you have done. Now, this is very important for you. And this is for my very favorite slide. You have to start your journey if you have not started. If you have started your journey on this line, excellent. First stage is DISA. DISA is a starting examination for any chartered accountant to learn what are the basic computer controls. You and your staff and your partners will not be able to do financial audits without you are qualified at least a DISA. If you pass a DISA, then I will recommend you should do a CISA. DISA and CISA. Why? A DISA is Indianized version of the CISA. CISA is international examination. Whole world, I landed in United States because of the CISA examination. Because that time, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act was passed in United States after Enron fall. There was a fraud in Enron, in WorldCom, and that's why a public company accounting oversight board has been established by the America, and that required the independent CPA or independent auditor to carry out Sarbanes-Oxley Act compliance. And I landed there because they wanted Indian Chartered Accountant, having knowledge of internal controls, basic accounting domain, and additional qualification of the CISA. Because of the CISA, I landed. So DISA and CISA will help you not to depend on others, to understand the controls, because you need to understand computer controls of the accounts which you are auditing. And without DISA and CISA, that is not possible. Next level, what they are saying, a risk and compliance professional. The ISACA International, has designed after that CISA C-risk examination, so that you understand what are the international laws and how the compliance is required to be established with any of the clients. Because many of the clients nowadays are techno-savvy companies, are catering to the companies which are outside India or any part of the world. So those all people do require an auditor to certify whether they are compliant with compliances. And from that point, C-risk is one of the example. The institute has given excellent examination platform. Like, for example, they have developed the forensic accounting and fraud detection. The international examination is certified fraud examiner. Certified fraud examiner may not be necessary unless you have a basic Indian FAFD exam, and then you can go for the certified fraud examination. In case of you want to do ISO implementation, the ISO 27001 is the very good standard examination. So here, for the step-by-step guide, your article clerks are not considered as a qualified people for carrying. They are saying partners or full-fledged chartered accountants who are working with you should have these examination questions. Now, there are a couple of other certifications are available. But basically, first, as an auditing professional, one of your partner must be a DISA or CISA. That is a basic need. Once you do the DISA or CISA, your eyes will be open that what you should do the next. So definitely you can consider that. Now we'll come to the digital etiquettes. Digital etiquettes, one of the part which I explained about the email, but there are so many other things for the digital etiquettes. Now, a digital etiquettes for all the staffs are very much necessary. In all this digital etiquette, what is covered? That how you communicate, how you talk, how you communicate with the clients, how you use the technology, what are the basic rules of hygiene of the technology. Hygiene means basic hygiene of your computer system in your office. How the entire communication of the digital network in your office work, what are the documentation, what are the policies and everything. So from that, employee must be given understanding that in digital area, how you should behave. For example, institute has come out with the guideline work from home policy, that how you should decently maintain the computer hygiene. In your computer etiquettes, what you should not download, what you should not do. Because what happens, as I mentioned, that if this training is not there, those people will be sharing on the pen drive anything to anyone, and definitely a privacy law which is in the pipeline coming, we as a chartered accountant will be coming into the trouble. So for digital etiquettes, basically we need to, I'm saying we also, because I am also part of the chartered accountant community, that we have to establish all these practices in the office. This answering question is one, but that will give 0 marks. But we as an institute want you to know what is the purpose of this section and how that is going to affect. Now, here I will tell you that policy. Very important is policy. Why policy is required? Because these small firms, all people are known to other and they are commonly sharing everything. Server is common, computer systems are common. But as I mentioned, the Information Technology Act requires the owner's responsibility is to secure the computer system. Now I will tell you what happens. That if you are a mid-sized firm or you are going on to scale up the higher firm, many people are there, many assistants are there, paid assistants are there. All people are using all common facilities of the computer systems. A basic internet usage policy or etiquettes, digital etiquettes policy has to be there. Why? Because recently what happened in the cyber cell in Pune, that one of the complaint came in front of the police department that somebody created a bogus website of that lady. And on that bogus website, it was mentioned that I am available and her phone number was given there. So she was crying that somebody created my bogus website, and subsequently it was found that one IT employee who visited her beauty, there was a quarrel between them, and that IT employee went back to office and created bogus website. Now, from the IT system of the company that website has been developed. Now, police landed there because, see, remember, when person is creating a website, that IP address of that machine, MAC address of that machine is recorded on the internet, and the service provider like Vodafone can tell you from this at during what time which machine used the service, and that landed at the desk of that lady. Now police asked company that you are responsible. Company shown the policy that this is policy. Policy mentioned that company's network is company. If employee uses this for something other than company, it is employee's responsibility. So employee is inside now. So remember, going forward now, what type of frauds and crimes may happen, we don't know. We should have the policy. Our employee must accept that policy. And then what happens? Nobody can copy the data of client's data, share the data. Everything has to be in the polished document. So this is one of the example. Either for the email that have a clear subject line. What happens, we search email. So in email, if heading is there, that balance sheet of 2000, 2001. So it is about balance sheet. Queries about fixer. Your Bank of India statement. So headline should be very clear. Then don't forget signature. Down you write, don't say that so and so company. Write your name and then say that ABC and Company Chartered Accountants. I always suggest that when you type a message, wait for 1 minute. Read it again as a third person by third eye. And if everything okay, let it go. Never rush. Never rush communication. And one more thing, whatever you type on the digital media, it is a permanent. For example, you post something on WhatsApp. Just now we talked about it, that WhatsApp should not be used. But currently WhatsApp is the only communication tool available for everyone. Maybe after privacy bill, something change will happen. If you type something on WhatsApp, it is permanent. If you feel, delete it is deleted from your phone, but permanently staying in the server. In case of any investigations, that all information is available with the service provider. Always remember in mind. Next is the cyber crime. This cyber crimes area is increasing day by day. Are we prepared? Have our employees have been trained that what is meant by cyberbullying? Somebody is blackmailing you. Cyberbullying is blackmailing you, sending false emails. If companies and official network is used, always remember, and from that point, remember that our domain name has to be there, our email ID should be there, so that you can filter those and have a proper control. Do not communicate from the personal email ID. So definitely, have we kept the awareness program? For example, in Pune, we are conducting cyber awareness program for many chartered accountant firms. In all study groups in Pune, we are conducting the cyber awareness program so that the small frauds which are happening in the net banking, happening in social media, in the email, so people are aware. See what happens, we are going for audit with the client, and at client's environment also we use the client facilities. So we should be aware, our staff should be aware what not to do and what can go wrong. So that training is very much essential. And definitely as a chartered accountant, we have to attend this seminar, we have to learn this. Remember, you will say that I don't have time. I will tell you, whatever work you are doing, if you want to reduce the pressure of your work, take the help of technology. That will save your time, and that time you utilize for the learning. And once you start the learning, no need of giving the exam, but have that appetite inside so that you can prepare yourself. I'm sure you all know the ransomware. I'm telling you that recently, we'll share one example and we'll go because we may be lacking some time. In case of the ransomware, what happened when the ransomware malware attack happens? That malware start encrypting one by one file. And moment all the files are encrypted, that entire data is locked in one folder, and the message comes to you that we have your data. If you want a data back, give us the Bitcoin. Bitcoin cost is huge today. And Bitcoin, after paying Bitcoin also, it is not sure that you will be getting the data or not. So what is the solution? Solution is have proper backup outside that machine every day. So that what happens? That tomorrow if something happens, that clean the computer system, get back the data, start working. Moment ransomware attacks happens in your computer system, they start encrypting the files. So when you demand that file, it is taking a long time. Why? What happens? The ransomware decrypts that file and make it available. Unless their entire data is encrypted, they will not lock that. So if everyone files that there is a delay in opening a file, that is a sign that there is a possibility of the ransomware attack. Let us go further. Then content delivery through a digital platform. I will tell you that currently you may have, you may not have. But I will tell you, when I was in United States, my chartered accountant firm created a secure folder website. And she told me that you upload this document. She has given me a secured access to that folder. And once that folder is uploaded, she will be seeing. And afterwards, once work is over, she will transfer to the mail and delete that. What happens, we send a bulk of files, bulk of things to the Excel and this, and that may create a security hazard because our assistant or ourselves, we are forwarding same emails to many people. Great risk. So you have to develop something like your website. Just now, Mr. Harsin has mentioned, you can create a secure folder on your website. Client can upload, you can see, and then have a secure tunnel. And then that is also one of the solutions. Sure that because of the CPE mandatory hours, you are learning. What is happening currently, many of the chartered accountants which I know, they are not attending the technology related CPE hours. They are attending all GST, income tax. So definitely make a practice that divide all the time for all type of learning. Because technology learning, I'm sure that you will be benefited to taking you the next is. Then your staff, whether technically skilled, definitely there are training programs. You have to spend time. If you spend time to train them, your time is going to save in future. So make adequate. You learn yourself. You attend your all seminars and everything, and you also make this. Establishing own portal is very important. And if you establish the important portal, have a proper security, a communication to your clients will be at great ease. Just now, the Narsian has already told you about CMP benefits. So many white papers are there. So many things are made available by the Institute of Chartered Accountant. You should take the benefit of that. Next question is, not talk anything about it because Narsin has given ample examples for you how you should learn online and how you should be benefiting from that. One important thing only I will mention here, because that has been mentioned here. The intellectual property rights is very important area for our work. Remember, currently our people are not knowing anything, downloading anything illogically without any permission on the firm's network. It will land us in the trouble. Why? Because the software is an art of literary, and that is a permanent right with the creator. And according to Section 65 of the Copyrights Act, if someone complains that you downloaded software without the permission, the 10 times penalty is there, and non-bailable, that is non-bailable crime. In our part of the world, the implementation law of the law is not that much severe. But when recently, one of my chartered accountant firm who is catering to the international clients, accounting services, their agreement, when he sent to me for verification, there was a clause in agreement that your office is using licensed software for all my work. They are not concerned about the other work. Because if liability will come, if the unlicensed software is there, because that client is ready to pay the license fee for the software which are used for him. So intellectual property rights is very important part. And going forward, America has become rich because of the IPR. Microsoft sitting there, we are using here, and we have to pay per use. Our machines are connected worldwide. So the manufacturers of the softwares come to know that you are using their software. So in India, mandatory licensing policy has been postponed to the next year. But there is a time that in case of the individual firms, these big software companies will not come to your door. But if big firm is there, where 4 partners there, 5 partners are there, big office is there, definitely that is a big risk for you. Now, digital technology, use of all chat GPT and everything, definitely initially we may have 1 or 2 numbers, but definitely you can increase the use. Now, what happens once, very important point, 1 hour before Narsian told you that you completed all clients' work except 2 or 3. Those 2 or 3 are your big clients. And they said that you have not sent me the reminder. And that's why this is delayed. That should not happen. So what happens in computer system, in the reminders? Everybody is covered. Even though unnecessary communication is taught by the client, your job is perfect, that you send the reminder. So you can schedule, because so many dates are there. It is impossible to remember all the dates. So many compliances of the governments are there. And if you're taking the client's total responsibility, I don't know how many acts you require to keep in mind. So you require to have this type of solutions so that scheduler is there. Now, it is very important that you carry out the risk assessment of the client, the risk assessment of your office, both. Here, both are considered. In audit planning, gone are the days that who went last year, who is going to him. So last year person knows everything. So he goes, new assistant goes, he trains on the side. That has gone now. You have to think in advance. What type of clients software are there? What type of application clients are using? What is the business of the client? And whether my team has adequate knowledge to carry out that work. I will tell you that currently, Reserve Bank of India and the SEBI has mandatorily made it compulsory for auditors of all publicly limited companies and government's tier 1 companies that chartered accountant firm must carry out IT general controls with the technology experts in their team. And I will tell you that is the biggest opportunity for the DSAs and CSAR. And currently we are auditing for this ITGC controls very large scale banks, very large. You will not imagine what is happening in the banks. Banks have practically become fintech companies. They have their own people inside the bank, and they are using hundreds and hundreds programs. One of the bank which we are auditing, they are using 400 applications. 400 applications. One is core banking solution, and so many other solutions are there. So this all will require adequate knowledge in the audit team to ask right type of questions. To ask right type of questions, you should sit and think that what is the client is having and whether I have adequate knowledge. Remember, I know that this requires a cost. But if you want to compete with the mid-sized firm, if you want to compete with others, you have to develop your skill set. You have to find out the solution. Get hold of the people who knows that. Get association with them and share everything. Definitely that is very much important. IT general controls means what? A general base platform in each that will include the hardware, what type of hardware controls are there, software, what are the basic controls, how wiring is there. Most important part I am going to tell you about this all is a continuity planning of your business. A business continuity planning, BCP, disaster recovery planning of your office will depend on this preparedness of this checklist. Because remember, I will tell you once what happened that example is funny. If time permits at end, I will tell you that Sampurna, if time permits at end, remind me about the one of the CA office instance. Let me complete first our walkthrough and then we'll come back to that. Audit planning software will be very much useful. That how much time you are spending. If you are charging to the client on the basis of the time, this audit planning software will help you that how much time you require to devote and actually how much time you give to the client. And that will help you for your due diligence. Remember, nowadays, it is a very important to remember if something goes wrong, that time everybody asks what auditor was doing. And if auditor is using all these technological tools, he can prove what he has done. I don't know why the color is going Sampurna, Jay, I don't know why the color has changed. Sampurna, are you seeing the color change? Are you able to see me? Jay? So what I should do now? It is not turning off. Yeah, wait. Okay. Without video also we can go further. I don't know what happened. Is it okay, Sampurna? Are you able to listen to me?
Yes, no issues.
Yeah. Jay, it looks like, I don't know, something has gone wrong. But are you able to hear, Jay? Okay. So we will continue without video. Just pass on the note to the participants that there is some issue, I don't know, with my machine or but since the last 15 minutes are left, we don't spend time to re-log in and go back. Correct, Sampurna?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No problem.
So remember, whatever planning software and actual time softwares you will be using, that will be definitely going to help you in the long run. Now, this all softwares and everything, Mr. Narsian has already talked to you, shown you. So I'm not going to spend much of the time on that. Okay. I'm just checking in between that everything is good. Okay. Now, remember that using tools are very much essential for a volume of transactions. Why? Because volume of transaction of the client is big and manually you can't do it. I will tell you that many of the chartered accountants firms, they have developed their own tools. And I remember at one of the company where we are a consultant, their auditors use a tool. They took all the data in their tool because all these tools work on the Excel. So they downloaded on that tool, and that company was the logistic company, and that chartered accountant firm within 8 days analyzed all the areas of the logistic company, and 8th day they came out with the queries. And the queries are based like why the custom duty is 0 when the import is done for the client of 50 crores rupees. Why the shipping charges for India to London for one shipment is $2 per kg and $10. So all these type of queries, they come out with the tools. And for many of your clients, while you select the sample, how you will select the sample? For example, the bank where we are doing the audit, the financial team of audit wanted to select a sample from 50 lakhs savings account, 25 lakhs loan accounts. To select the sample without the tool, it is impossible. So from that point of view, remember, there are many easy tools are available. ECAT just now mentioned by Narsian. I know the developer Rafiq Abdul. He is also a DISA faculty and he contributed to DISA material. So some tools you require to think of use, and definitely those staff has to be trained for that. Let us go to the quickly to the next. Advanced Excel, already told you the extracting sample, that is the biggest advantage of that tool. Then ERP. Somebody asked that ERP. Definitely, if your client is having ERP, you must have the basic knowledge how ERP works. I'm sure that if you spend the time, if your clients are mid-sized, bigger companies catering to internationally and having SAP, it is a good idea to have a SAP general review audit training. There are specialists. They will train you how to extract the data from ERP. They will train you which area is required to be seen as auditor. So definitely, according to client software, you must train your staff, you must train yourself for carrying out the audit. About the tax competition, definitely remember, even though you are using tax portals, the tax calculations softwares are available. It is a good idea that for any clients, before filling any income tax return, the software should be used for the calculation, and your judgment can be used whether everything is correct. If you are catering to the clients for the taxation planning, it is don't depend on your general knowledge because so many things happen. It is very difficult. What we do currently, we ask our friend, such and such problem is there. Now gone are the days because your friend may not be knowing those all things. You have to get some softwares to help you for the planning. So they consider all the possibilities, what is happening currently in the market, what are the latest case studies, and from that, these are the some of the software names which are available there. I'm sure you all know this. I will not mention to you. This is just like ECATs, and many application interfaces are there. For example, with two system, one interface is there that is extracting the data from there. Even that can be done. I did not talk about it. I sure that you all know from the Nursians. Always remember, I will tell you small thing about the ERP, that it is necessary that you understand what type of ERP client has implemented. Why? Because on that basis, you can prepare your own checklist and not to miss any important things. In the SAP system, for example, there is an audit tool already available. You can take help of that. Definitely your judgment is super. Even though that tool gives you the mistake like this, these are these things, you have to apply your own mind. Zoho, Tally, all those things are already discussed. Remember, your accounting, if it is on Tally, you should go for eTally. If you are having eTally, you should think about going to Zoho. Remember, you have to see something new. When some new application you download, definitely you will be training yourself. And always remember, whenever you use any new software for direct downloading from bank, all computer related controls are also required to be established properly. If you are doing a management service, definitely that type of service, if you are giving, for example, we are giving management service for IT general controls. So we have to ensure that whether we know everything. And from that point, definitely the risk assessment is very important. I will tell you one small part. See, risk assessment will tell you that which is the important asset of the client and whether client has built the controls around that. Because the digital assets are the new area which are not like a physical asset, and clients may not be aware of the taking out the insurance. For example, if there is a data, if there is an application, huge cost is there, at what price insurance to be made. Recently, one of the client asked me that they want to make the cyber insurance. So companies do not have the ready-made policy, but we worked out that how many hours will be required to create that application, multiply by the current rate, is value of that data. Now that data is not physical, which will be the disk. But if it is lost, that much insurance is necessary. So we are just at last part, and almost I have done everything. And let me come back to this. Sorry that my video is not open, but now I will take up the questions, so that next 5 minutes we'll take up the questions. So friends, a summary what I am going to share with you is, starts from the scratch. Start preparing yourself for whatever you want to do, and definitely you will be taken to the next level. Now, technology will be going along with us. So learn to get involved in the technology in all the matters, and definitely now I will take the questions, Sampurna, if you have received any questions.
Yes, sir. Yes. Let me check, sir. Sir, is keeping passwords in this website, in a website that earlier sir was showing, is safe?
Actually, on the internet, nothing is safe. First disclaimer. Nothing is safe on the internet, But definitely, some people say that the encrypted password can be stored on some of the website. I have heard that DigiLocker, which is the government-sponsored website, that is safer. But I will recommend to you not to share passwords anywhere other than your brain. And if at all you want to save somewhere, write down on the paper and keep that paper in lock and key.
Yes, sir. So any mobile-based solution for accounting?
Yeah, that is a revolution. Tally is working on it. Once the Tally comes on mobile, definitely our chartered accountant's role will finish. Okay, it is very good question you raised. See, this mobile banking has created a tremendous frauds across the India. And since this mobile is storing everything of yours, so definitely you have to be very careful while using the mobile. And definitely for bank related transaction, you have to do minimum from the mobile. Most of the things you should do from the digital laptop. Yes.
Okay, sir. So that is it for the questions.
So, friends, thank you very much. And thank you, Sampurna, for staying together for last 3 hours. And thank you very much for all the chartered accountants who have joined across the India. It's a pleasure interacting with you and delivering you some of our experience. Only thing is that because of the time constraint, everything could not be covered. But that was expected that basically we intended to open your eyes and make available the information what we have and share our practical experiences to go to the next level. Thank you very much. I am sorry that there is some issue with the video camera. I will check and find out. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. So with this, we have come to the end of this wonderful session. I would like to thank CA Charanjot Singh Nandaji, Chairman, Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, and our eminent speakers who have joined us today, Narsimha Sarji and Shri sir. It was very informative, very detailed, with very good examples. Everything explained very well, I must say, sir. So with this, I would also like to thank all the support staff that they make this session possible, and all the participants who have joined us today for this session. And further, I would like to add that Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, on every Friday, we organize these kind of sessions. So you are requested to please stay in touch and stay updated. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, one second. I must thank Chairman of the tab, Nanda sir, Dayanivas ji, Sharma ji, Amit Gupta sir, Shubham sir, Kunal sir, Sudhanshu sir, Sampurna, and all technical staff, including Jay. Thank you very much. And all the chartered accountants, be there on the digital platform. Ask any questions, any queries, and we will be sharing our email ID if required. Definitely. I will just share my email ID and then we'll conclude. Is it okay? I hope that I can. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let me tell a small thing that all the chartered accountants, we can't win the war with the cyber fraudsters. We can't win the war, but we can defend best. So this all practice, all digital competency maturity model is towards the defense. Why? Because if war is there and if we go without preparation, we are going to die. And what we are going to learn? Defend ourselves. That is the basic purpose of this standard. Then these are some of the points which I wanted to share. Learning goes on. Market yourself, right person at right person. Think in advance. Defend your system. Share and update. And you must take out the time. This is my mail ID. If anybody wants to, can connect, ask. Thank you very much, Sampurna, for reminding, because I forgot to share the email ID. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. With this, we close the session for today.
Yes.